Jamie, do you have an IFB in? I do. Okay, he's going to count you in. I'll put mine on. Hello. Hello. Where are we at? Right in here. Okay. Okay, we're just going to put this in my pocket. This is not... Like, this clip is, like, so... This is up...
It's cool. Oh, you're up, Jamie.
Jamie, you're on TV.
Okay.
Hello.
All right, right now we are watching a tornado warning storm. Tornado warning has just been issued. This is for western sections of Carroll County and eastern sections of Benton County. It looks like a possible tornado located here on the south side of Bentonville. That storm is tracking northeast at 60 miles per hour. Beth, do you have some information?
Your mic is not on. Sorry. We also have another tornado warning that was just issued north of Bentonville for parts of Benton County, Arkansas. That also goes until 1 a.m., also moving at northeast at 50 miles per hour. Other hazards with these storms are hail up to the size of quarters, damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, and some heavy rain as well.
Right. So, okay, looking at our tornado warning storm right now, here it is. This is Bentonville. Looks like the circulation right about in here, but it's not just that part of the storm that we're concerned about. What we're looking at are these surges, these line segments, and these surges, as they bow out toward the east-northeast, they are going to have the potential of producing isolated, brief tornadoes. These are these short-lived, shallow circulations. They don't last terribly long. They're typically not that strong, but they can pose damage, and they can pose a risk to life and home. And right now, it looks like that circulation again on the south side of Bentonville at this time. You can see it right there, just to the east of I-49. Now, if you're watching from Carroll County, western Carroll County, you're still a pretty good ways away from this warned line segment, but these storms are racing off toward the east-northeast at roughly 60 miles per hour, so that does not give you much time to take shelter. Whether you live in, say, Bush, Beaver, or the Eureka Springs area, you're all tornado warned at this time. You need to be taking shelter action for the possibility of a tornado possibly moving through your community as we watch this line of severe storms that will have the capability of producing tornadoes on a short notice. Now, right now, again, what we're trying to highlight is where that circulation currently is, and that is on the south side of Bentonville, moving east-northeast at 60 miles per hour. So you can see some times here listed. Garfield at 12:46, and it looks like it would be near the Eureka Springs area at roughly 12:57 or shortly before 1 o'clock in the morning. So again, tornado warning just issued for northeastern Benton County and northwestern sections of Carroll County. This does include the Eureka Springs area. This is through 1 o'clock in the morning. We have a fast-moving line segment with a embedded circulation located right there that is going to continue to track off toward the east-northeast at 60 miles per hour. Now, south from there, we've been watching other severe storms down across the Fayetteville area. There's been a portion of that line that has recently been tornado warned. Right now, it looks like that tornado warning has been allowed to expire. And if you're watching from further north, southwest Missouri, we are looking at a severe weather threat right now as we've got a line of severe storms moving across Lawrence County and Berry County. Been particularly watching this area right in here. This line segment from Mount Vernon down into the Monette area. Monette, we had a report of a 60-mile-per-hour wind gust with that line segment as it made its way through. And you can see how it's kind of bowed out a little bit right in there. There's been a little bit of an embedded circulation right here to the south of I-44. We've been tracking that one since it was just north of Granby. So that's something to be watched, because that's what we're looking at tonight, a scenario where we've got a line of severe storms, a squall line. The primary risk is going to be damaging winds, but as is often the case, especially this time of the year when you get these squall line events, you can get these shallow circulations, these shallow spin-ups, tornadoes. They tend to be, again, brief, and they tend to be on the small side, but they can pop up very quickly before they dissipate very quickly. So this is going to be one of those kinds of nights where we may get these blanket kind of tornado warnings because we're watching for that tornado threat to kind of come and go very quickly. Again, right now, not looking at any tornado warnings on the line here in southwest Missouri, but this does bear watching. And as we were highlighting that portion of the line near Monette, you could see it looks like there's still a little bit of a circulation right there. The most concerning part of the line, though, right now is the line segment that's making its way across northeastern Benton County, and it will continue to track toward the east-northeast into northwestern Carroll County. It'll do that right now, 12:33 in the morning. Looks like it should be in northwest Carroll County roughly 5 till 1 or around 1 o'clock in the morning. So if you live in Eureka Springs, Bush, or Beaver, you've still got about 20 minutes before that storm or line of storms arrives. But once it gets to you, again, look for conditions to get rather dicey very quickly, as we are going to find heavy rain, strong winds, and the possibility of tornadoes moving through your area. Again, right now, specifically kind of focused in on this portion of that line segment to the southeast of Bentonville. You can kind of see that little hook right there. This is where it looks like we've got an embedded circulation. This is the bowing portion of that line that will continue to track toward the east-northeast. And this is a pretty good ways away from the Springfield radar site. That's the radar that we're using at this time. But you can still see, at least aloft, we have the circulation, and that likely extends all the way down to the surface. So there's that possibility in that location southeast of Bentonville for a tornado, and as that line segment tracks toward the east-northeast, we could see that risk extending east across Benton County and into western sections of Carroll County. Guys, if we can, let's go ahead and zoom out and take a broader look at all of the area, because I do want to kind of highlight what's going on with this line. Just keep going out even further so we see northern Arkansas and southern Missouri. You can see here's the interstate. This is the part of the line that I'm most concerned with. There are some strong thunderstorms here north of the interstate, but the further north you get, the more stable the air mass is near the surface. So the severe weather threat does lessen further north. That doesn't mean that we don't have a severe weather threat, but it does lessen north of the interstate. But I would say areas along and south of the interstate through most of the rest of tonight, we are going to be under the gun for severe weather. That's where the higher chances for severe weather are going to be, as we've got moisture and instability, which is rapidly moving north ahead of a cold front, which is located back toward, really it's right here on the line of the storm. So this is our cold front that's continuing to race on off toward the east. So again, right now we've got severe thunderstorm warnings, which are in effect for parts of southwest Missouri. It looks like recently a new severe thunderstorm warning has been issued for Greene County. That means that we're going to see the weather going downhill shortly. This is through 1:15 this morning. So here in Springfield, expect that line of severe storms to be arriving roughly around 1 o'clock in the morning, shortly after 1 o'clock in the morning. As that line moves through, at the very least, expecting strong winds, potentially damaging winds that could approach 60 miles per hour. We did have one report out of Monette of that. Also, it is a scenario where we can't rule out tornadoes, so I need you to be very alert to rapidly changing conditions. Again, right now, a severe thunderstorm warning, but it's one of those scenarios where we could see these warnings upgraded very quickly to a tornado warning based on what's going on with that line. Right now, not seeing anything too strong or anything that stands out too much along the line, at least on the north side of the state line here in southwest Missouri. But that could change as it continues to advance on off toward the east. So again, this is the latest development, is this new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Greene County. It's for this portion of the line right here, that bowing portion. You can see how it kind of bows out like that. This is strong wind energy coming into the backside of that, and that's going to help to punch those storms on off toward the east-northeast at a very quick clip. I believe a 60-mile-per-hour forward movement, right?
Yes. The new severe thunderstorm warning that includes Springfield is for that line moving northeast at 55 miles per hour. 60-mile-per-hour winds and quarter-size hail are the biggest threat with that, and it goes into 1:15. We are getting reports of power outages in Monette because of trees down on power lines, so some folks are already starting to be in the dark from these damaging winds rolling through.
Yeah, and we could find that here in Springfield. We could find that in areas like Billings and Republic, maybe even Nixa, Ozark, up through Willard, as this line of storms races toward the east-northeast at roughly 55 miles per hour. The threat of damaging winds is there. We've already had it in Monette. Again, that's what Elisa was just reporting, that we've had not only reports of strong winds, but also damage and power outages associated with those strong winds. And we could find that spreading into areas around Springfield, including Springfield, through 1 o'clock this morning. Now, further south, also looking at a severe weather threat across Berry County that will be making its way into western sections of Christian County and Stone County. Again, right now, what we're seeing in the line tells us that it's primarily a damaging wind threat at this time. But we are under a tornado watch, and that tornado watch is in effect through 5 o'clock in the morning. The tornado warning that we have currently in our area is for this portion of the line that's making its way across eastern Benton County. You can see that surge in the line right there, making its way east-northeast at 60 miles per hour, and that will be spreading into northwestern Carroll County by 1 o'clock in the morning. Should be in the Eureka Springs area by roughly 1 o'clock. We've been tracking in particular an area of rotation within that line that looks to be about right in there. Again, we're looking from our radar site here in Springfield, so that's a pretty good distance away from Springfield, meaning that what we're seeing is higher up in the storm, but we're likely seeing that circulation extend close to the surface as well. So this is our area that we're most concerned about for a possible tornado. Again, here's Bentonville to the west. That circulation is going to continue to track in this fashion. So if you are a resident of Eureka Springs, Bush, Beaver, please continue to monitor this storm from a safe place in your home, as you are tornado warned at this time. That's through 1 o'clock this morning, and that threat for severe weather will be increasing here over the next 15 to 20 minutes as that line continues to race off to the east-northeast at 60 miles per hour. Again, this is going to be a long night, folks. If you live areas further east of Highway 65, anywhere from, say, Rolla south down through West Plains and into maybe Salem, Arkansas, you're going to be under the gun later tonight, probably closer to maybe 2:30 to 3:30 in the morning, but it is coming, and there will be that threat of severe weather in your area as well. So please, if you're watching from maybe an area further east of Highway 65, please stay with us as we're going to continue to track this severe weather event as it continues to roll across the Ozarks. Right now, that threat of severe weather increasing here in areas along Highway 65, including Springfield. We've got this line of severe storms, which right now extends from basically northeast of Mount Vernon, south down to right around Roaring River. This portion of the line will continue to race on off toward the east-northeast at roughly 55 miles per hour, and with it we'll have that attendant damaging wind threat. And again, watching very closely for any of these little circulations to try to pop up within that line that could lead to maybe an increased threat of an isolated brief tornado. So that's something, again, we're going to be watching very closely. Here's some arrival times for you based on where the line is right now, based on that forward movement. It looks like we should see that line into the Republic area by 12:47, should be in Galena by 12:46. This morning, and then it will be making its way east of the Highway 65 corridor in roughly 20 minutes or so from now, or say about 1 o'clock in the morning. We should see that line beginning to shift east of the Highway 65 corridor. This whole line is moving very quickly, folks, so this is going to be a rather quick severe weather event, but when that line moves through, again, you're going to get a lot of rain, you're going to get intense lightning, and you're going to likely have some very strong winds, if not damaging winds, and there will be that threat for an isolated brief tornado with this severe weather event, this squall line that we're finding moving through. This isn't a scenario where the later in the night that we go, the less that severe weather threat is going to get. It looks like we're going to hold on to that severe weather threat throughout the entire night until that line can clear our area. So again, looking at some of the different warned storms that we have, really looking at that line of severe storms that extends from, it looks like areas in eastern Dade County, south across Lawrence County and Berry County. That's one line segment or portion of that squall line. And then we have another more intense portion of the line down across northwest areas of Arkansas. Lisa was highlighting some of the velocities there.
Yeah, Jamie, that new severe thunderstorm warning for parts of Berry and Stone counties of this cluster that's coming out of Arkansas has a tornado possible tag with the severe thunderstorm warning. So you're mentioning this line of severe storms, mainly damaging winds, but can escalate very quickly. So they're already trying to monitor some rotation within that cluster, which is what I was trying to see what they might be looking at in here by using that scope.
Yeah, just looking at the velocity data, nothing really jumps out at me looking at this, but what we would be looking for in these sorts of scenarios is these little surges, like this is a surge, here's a surge right there, and oftentimes on the north side of that surge, so maybe in this area, and in this case, in this area near the interstate, that would be a more favored spot for one of these shallow circulations to try to develop. We're not seeing that at this time, but that possibility is there. And Elisa has just got done mentioning the fact that National Weather Service is highlighting that as well, that it's a possibility, especially in that line segment that's moving through Berry and then into Stone counties, that we could see maybe some tornado development in a very quick period of time. No tornado warning at this time, but that warning could get upgraded very, very quickly. Looking further south into northwest Arkansas into eastern Benton County, the circulation there doesn't stand out as much, but again, we're looking fairly high up in the storm. But that tornado warning does continue, and that threat, it looks like the threat for tornadoes will extend into northwestern Carroll County, including the Eureka Springs area. If you live in Eureka Springs or Bush or Beaver, this area, you're under the tornado warning. That's through 1 o'clock. We've got about 16 more minutes or so to go. Right now, you can see that line of severe storms to your west, and that will continue to surge off toward the east-northeast at 60 miles per hour. You can see some arrival times. Looks like it should be in Eureka Springs sometime in the next, say, 10 to maybe 15 minutes. Roughly 12:56 or so is when that line should arrive, probably a little bit before 12:56. In Oak Hill, it looks like that line will arrive just ahead of 1 o'clock in the morning. Again, these storms very, very fast moving, and that's kind of a signature of these types of storms this time of the year. You get into the fall season, the winter, the spring, there's a lot more wind energy typically with these big storms that develop in the nation. That's what we're looking at right now, a big fall storm beginning to wrap up across portions of the upper Midwest, and that wind energy translates in these thunderstorms to a damaging wind threat typically, but also can translate into what are called mesovort style tornadoes, or these shallow, brief, typically on the weak side type tornadoes, but they can come and go very, very quickly. And that's what we're going to be watching for overnight tonight. Again, looking at the line as it stands, looks like it's beginning to make its way into areas like around Willard. This stretches down toward, it looks like now east of Aurora. Looks like Marionville, looks like where that line is currently located. So from maybe Walnut Grove actually south down to Marionville, and then further south is where we're finding the line currently. So it's just now beginning to make its way into western Greene County, just now beginning to make way into the panhandle of Christian County and also into northwestern Stone County. Looks like a little bit of a nub right there. So this would be an area that we would watch very closely just to the southwest of Crane. Certainly there's going to be that possibility of damaging winds with this portion of the line as it continues to track in this fashion across northern Stone County. Looks like we may have a little bit of a weak circulation here to the south of Crane, just south of Crane. So again, that is an example of a spot on that line that we're going to be watching very, very closely as these little eddies kind of come and go overnight tonight as that squall line continues to push east very quickly across the area. So that portion of the line segment you can see very clearly extending down into the Roaring River area, and then further south into northwest Arkansas, we've got another one of these segments, these line segments right there, which extends from northeast of Bentonville, kind of arcs around through Garfield, and then back on off toward the south and west. And at the bow of this is where we're likely looking at the highest risk for damaging winds that could be in excess of 60 miles per hour, and also probably on the northern edge of this, like roughly right here, and then maybe up in this area. This would be an area that we would watch for maybe some tornado development, and that tornado warning does remain in effect for eastern Benton County and northwestern Carroll County through 1 o'clock. We've got about 13 more minutes or so to go with that. Guys, you've been watching things closely over there. Is there any new developments coming in on chat?
No, they're still just very concerned about the damaging wind threat. It looks like they keep extending the severe thunderstorm warnings. That, you know, as soon as we get them on air, they keep getting extended eastward rather. So this is a new one that you see flashing for those damaging winds up to 60 miles per hour, including parts of Berry, Christian, Douglas, Stone, Taney, and Webster counties until 1:30. Just a lot of polygons, a lot of boxes kind of overlapping each other because they're just trying to cover all portions of the line. But generally speaking, this whole area that we've been talking about that you could see, especially from up towards here through Lockwood and then bending back down towards that border where you get this bend in that line, that's where we could see some of those damaging winds, and they just keep pushing those severe thunderstorm warnings eastward to account for that.
If we can, Elisa, let's go ahead and kind of zoom in one more time on this portion of the line here moving into northern Stone County, because this looks to be an area that's most suspect right now here, at least north of the state line. This is a little south of Crane. Looks like we've got a little nub right there. And I would guess if we look at the velocity data, it looks like we've got a little bit of a circulation. Again, our radar site is up here, so we're looking down at this storm, and it looks like we've got a little bit of a circulation. This is to the northwest of Galena, to the south of Crane. So that, again, is an example of what we're going to be watching very, very closely. This, if it were to intensify a bit more, could get upgraded to a tornado warning. At this time, it looks like this would be an area, though, where at the very least we could find maybe a localized area of stronger winds, a greater potential for maybe damaging winds approaching 60 miles per hour. And again, that's a little south of Crane and a little northwest of Galena here in northwestern Stone County, or southeast of Aurora. So as we zoom in a little bit, you can kind of see how this relates again to Crane. It looks like Elsie is located a little southeast of where that little circulation is, but you're probably getting some pretty strong winds in Elsie right now. Again, winds that may approach 60 miles per hour. If we can, Elisa, let's go ahead and kind of shift our focus back to the north once again into Greene County, as these storms are now beginning to make their way out of areas like Dade and Lawrence County into western sections of Greene and Christian County. Marionville located here, you can see Billings. This portion of the line, this is where we're looking at some strong winds right here. This cuts from Halltown south down to just east of Marionville.
The Weather Service is mentioning that they're watching this this little circulation near Billings headed towards Republic. So right now it's under severe thunderstorm warning, but something that they're watching very closely is that little blip where the reds and the greens meet.
Yeah, so we're looking at this area right in here. Again, the red, those are outbound winds, and then the greens or blue colors that you've been seeing that we've been talking about, those are inbound winds toward the radar site. Looks like, again, maybe a relatively weak circulation at this time. Again, this is located, looks like a little west of Billings. Here we're getting a new scan on radar, and it looks like that, for the most part, looks like it's vanished. But it looks like there is a little bit of a circulation now southeast of Billings. Go ahead.
We have a new tornado warning.
They cut back Benton County down in Arkansas, so it's just in Carroll County now.
Oh, okay, same one.
Yeah,
Okay,
still
so-
till 1 a.m.
Yeah, so the update that we're looking at down in Carroll County is that the tornado-warned storm has now made its way out of eastern Benton County, so they've gone ahead and cut that portion of the warning out. But we're still looking at a tornado warning for northwestern Carroll County that does include Eureka Springs, and that line of severe storms now is moving into areas like Bush and Eureka Springs. So at this time, we could be looking at some dangerous weather in that area. Damaging winds, certainly a possibility, along with heavy rainfall and lightning, and cannot rule out the possibility of tornadoes with that portion of the line as well. And that's why we have that tornado warning in effect for northwestern Carroll County. That goes for another 9 minutes. So again, Eureka Springs, if you live in that area around Eureka Springs or a little east of Eureka Springs, the weather is going to be going downhill very, very quickly as that line of severe storms is now upon you. And you should see, again, the winds picking up, the rain coming down, and the lightning flashing. Further north, looking across Berry County, you can see really it looks like mainly just some heavy rain in areas like Cassville east through Roaring River. The line of severe storms that we're watching right now actually is this portion that has now made its way into Stone County. This extends north into western sections of Greene County. This line is moving east-northeast at roughly 55 to 60 miles per hour. Very, very fast clip. So the storms move in and then they move out, the rain tapers off, and then you're done with it. So it doesn't last very long, but as these storms are moving in, they're going to pack a punch, especially in the form of some strong wind gusts along with heavy rainfall and lightning. And Elisa has put on some arrival times for us, and you can see it looks like here in the Springfield area, the line of severe storms should be arriving at roughly 1 to 1:05 in the morning, so another 10 minutes or so from now. Nixa about 10 minutes or so from now. Galena, that line is already on you, and you're likely looking at those winds picking up. If we can, Elisa, let's go ahead and check out that line a little bit more closely in terms of the velocity data, see if we can see any of these little eddies that we may need to be concerned about. Just looking at radar, what we would typically look for are these little nubs. There's one there that we've been watching. Looks like we may have one right there. Here to the east of Billings, looks like we may still have at least a little bit of a circulation. This is just southeast of Billings, just south of Highway 60, and this would continue to track roughly in this fashion. So if this is the circulation that holds, it looks like that would stay a little south of Republic. I was looking at a circulation northwest of Billings that would be heading toward the Republic area. That circulation, at least in the last radar scan, appears to have pretty much vanished. I don't really see much sign of that, at least in this radar scan at this level. Again, looking further north, outside of that velocity data, you can see how these severe storms have now made their way into western Greene County, areas from Walnut Grove south across Ash Grove, east of Halltown. That's where the line is currently centered here in western Greene County. Again, damaging winds a possibility, very heavy rainfall, lots of lightning with these storms. If you've been watching over the last hour and a half or so, it's been a really impressive light show off to the west, and now that light show is here in the Springfield area as that line of severe storms continues to spread across western Greene County. Again, just kind of scanning the line, dropping south across Stone County. Still looks like we've got a little bit of a nub right there to the east of Crane and northeast of LC. Again, that's the kind of stuff that we got to watch. And it looks like we do have a weak circulation at the very least. You can see, again, we've got strong winds racing toward the radar site, and then you've got these winds that are heading away from the radar site right there. So we may have a little bit of a circulation currently to the east of Crane. That really bears watching as it continues to track roughly in this fashion. This has been the general movement of that little circulation that I've been tracking since it was back near the Crane area. Further south, Elisa, if we can go ahead and check out, again, that portion of the line in northwest Arkansas. This is now made its way, this line segment, the surge in the line has made its way into western Carroll County. Looks like we, at the very least, are seeing a circulation higher up in this storm, right up in here, just to the northwest of Eureka Springs. If you live in Bush, Beaver, or Eureka Springs, though, especially now Beaver and Eureka Springs, you guys are still tornado warned. That warning in effect for another 5 minutes. Again, you know, this is the best that we can do in terms of pointing out where we see a circulation right about in this area. This has been pretty trackable since it was back near Bentonville. We've been tracking it across Benton County now into northwestern Carroll County. Have not gotten any reports, but I would guess that at the very least we are looking at the a real risk of damaging straight line winds of maybe 60 miles per hour. So wind speed's a factor certainly in Eureka Springs and Beaver right now as those winds ramp up and you're getting heavy rainfall and lots of lightning too. Again, it looks like the worst of the line is now made its way across Bush and is making its way into Beaver and Eureka Springs. Again, this portion of the line moving east-northeast at about 60 miles per hour, so about highway speed or even interstate speed is what we're looking at in terms of movement of this squall line as it continues to push across the area. So Elise is she's kind of tracking where these storms are going to go, giving us a pretty good estimate of where this line is going to be tracking over the next, I believe, over the next half an hour. And you can see, looks like we should see that line making its way into areas like Berryville at around 105, Green Forest at around 113, and over in Alpena at about 123 in the morning. As that line of severe storms, that portion on the line continues to track east-northeast at about 60 miles per hour. Anything new over here?
No, we have not seen an update yet. We've got 2 more minutes left on this tornado warning, so now what we're watching for is to see what they do with it, if they let it expire or need to extend it a little bit more. So again, that tornado warning that includes Bush, Beaver, Eureka Springs, got about 2 more minutes on it, and no word yet on if they're going to chop it up more or let it go. Our tornado watch has continued until 5 a.m. for most of the area, but they're starting to trim it away. So let's see, the graphics might not have populated with that yet. It's usually pretty slow. Yeah. No, it has not. So they're starting, this is the old version, guys, but what we're seeing is they canceled it for Barton, Cedar, Dade, Hickory, and Jasper. So those counties
this one's updated.
Okay.
Yeah, once the squall line moves to your area, once it's east of your area, your severe weather threat is over with. So again, this is going to be a very quick event. But it will be an event that will extend across all of the Ozarks. You can see how that tornado watch does extend east toward Raleigh, Salem, Eminence. That's through 5 in the morning. North central Arkansas, areas like Mountain Home, Yellville, Melbourne, Salem. Those areas until 6 o'clock in the morning. But I expect that line of severe storms to arrive well before then. So don't be counting on the back end of the tornado watch as to when you're going to see that line arrive. It's going to be well before then. These storms are racing east-northeast, again at about 60 miles per hour.
This little part that I'm circling with the arrow is the part that was canceled as far as the tornado watch goes. So again, as we've been saying, these are moving. New tornado watch coming
for South.
Or a tornado warning, I should say.
They're talking about a new tornado warning coming out for the Battlefield area here near Springfield. So what we're looking at is a new tornado warning. It's just been issued. It's for this. You can see here's Republic. Here's our little nub right there. Tornado warning now in effect for this portion of the line specifically, but you can see it's a little bit wider than that. So if you live across especially the south side of Springfield, south down across Battlefield, even into Nixa, and then further east over toward areas like Turner's east of Springfield or even Rogersville, tornado warning has now been issued for your area. This is through 1:30 in the morning. You can see that circulation pretty clearly here to the southeast of Republic. So if we can, Elisa, let's go ahead, since we can see it so clearly, let's go ahead and zoom right on in and see how this relates to that area. Again, here's Highway 60. Here's Republic. Looks like very close to Wilson's Creek. Just to the west of Wilson's Creek here is where that possible tornado is located. This is one of those circulations that has quickly developed. We've been actually tracking that. That was a new circulation that developed to the southeast of Billings. It has intensified here in the last scan, strong enough now that we're concerned that there could be a tornado with that part of the line, and that is going to be making its way across Wilson's Creek. So if you live in Battlefield, especially south and west back towards areas around Wilson's Creek, take shelter immediately. A possible tornado moving through your area right now. This possible tornado moving very quickly east-northeast at, what, about 60 miles per hour?
Northeast at 45 miles per hour.
Northeast at 45 miles per hour. Still a very fast clip. You don't have much time to take shelter. So again, here's where our possible tornado is located, right there. And that is tracking toward the northeast at 45 miles per hour. So we're going to go ahead and kind of zoom this out a little bit so we can kind of track this for you so you can get a better idea of arrival times. There we go. You can see, again, Wilson's Creek. It's going to be there within minutes. Battlefield looks like it'll be there shortly after 1 o'clock or about 1:07. Across the south side of Springfield, this is James River right here. So again, if you live along or north of James River on the south side of Springfield, that possible tornado is going to be moving through your area in about 10 to 12 minutes from now. So please take shelter as we're tracking a possible tornado now to the southwest of Battlefield, moving northeast, a little more east of northeast at about 45 miles per hour. You can see that nub very clearly. Here's our little hook Republic, it looks like the tornado threat is going to pass to your east and south. So I would say you're probably looking okay there in Republic. It looks like this tornado threat, too, will probably stay just south of Highway 60. But if you live south of Highway 60 from Wilson's Creek, of course, we're looking at the Republic High School is located in that area. Battlefield, further east, northeast across James River. This is going to be the corridor that it looks like that possible tornado is going to be tracking over the next 10 to 15 minutes. Again, these are fast-moving storms. This is a fast-moving possible tornado. You do not have much time to take shelter. Please do so right now. Again, this will not last very long, and then the storm will move east out of your area. But right now, I need you to take shelter with a possible tornado moving across the south side of Greene County, specifically in areas from Wilson's Creek, northeast across Battlefield, and then up towards Republic Road and James River on the south side of Springfield. So again, a dangerous situation as we're looking at the possibility of a tornado here now in southwestern Greene County, moving east-northeast at 45 miles per hour. Looks like that tornado threat is going to stay south of Highway 60, at least this portion of the line that we're concerned about most. Will stay south of Highway 60, but will continue to track along this general corridor across the south side of Springfield. So again, if you live in areas like the south end of Campbell, east across the south end of Glenstone, along James River, south of James River, please take shelter right now with a possible tornado moving toward your area. Should be moving across those areas, and roughly 10 minutes or so from now should be moving across Battlefield, that general area, over the next 5 to 10 minutes as it tracks east-northeast at 45 miles per hour. Do we have any new updates coming in over there?
Okay, so yeah, a couple of things. Sirens are going off in Greene County and in Seymour. Those emergency managers have pulled the trigger on that. So if you hear sirens, this is why. They're continuing to watch this circulation pretty tight in Greene and Christian counties. They're now calling it confirmed based on radar. They're very concerned about how strong this circulation is. So we're looking at that radar-indicated tornado, and they're, again, very concerned about how tight this circulation might be because of the signature on radar is very classic. So they're concerned about this, and they might be updating this to be a tornado confirmed. But we've got sirens going off again in Greene County, the city of Seymour. So if you hear those sirens, your emergency alerts should be going off on your phone. We heard Jamie's over the air a little bit. His phone was freaking out, but we've got all these emergency alerts popping right now. Lots of lightning with this too. We're seeing the lights flicker in the studio here with these storms moving through, and they're still moving pretty fast to the north and east at 45 miles per hour. So I want to update this time again since we are seeing this. Oh, okay, it looks like they're tight. No, this is a new one.
Yeah,
to the south.
A new tornado warning has just been issued. Okay, getting back to the Battlefield tornado warning, that possible tornado, that circulation is just southwest of Battlefield. This is just north of the county line, just southwest of Battlefield is where that current circulation is located. And again, that thing is tracking east-northeast at 45 miles per hour. It currently looks like it's over pretty rural area here in southwestern Greene County, but it won't take much for it to be moving. It looks like now in the latest scan that we're getting, it looks like it has now moved into the Battlefield area. Looks like it may be on the east side of Battlefield, continue to track toward the northeast. And Elisa, you have a new tornado warning that's come in?
Right. So the one in the top that we've been watching for Battlefield, this one right here, they now did do confirmed. So this is a observed tornado on the ground located over Battlefield, moving north and east at 45 miles per hour.
Okay.
This new one is radar indicated. So we've got two different circulations here that they're watching, and the one up near Battlefield is so strong on radar that they are doing it confirmed. The one to the south is now radar indicated. So which one would you like us to start with, Jamie?
Well, let's go ahead. Let's track the one that's in Battlefield right now. Actually, let's go down to the one that's further south. Let's get that information out. That tornado warning is for a storm that's located very close to Highlandville. Located just northeast of Highlandville is where it appears that circulation is, and that is tracking toward the northeast. That will be making its way across Highway 65 here shortly. Actually, currently, right now, it's making its way toward 160, and then from 160, it would then track across Highway 65. This would be over the next, say, 5 to 10 minutes. From there, it looks like it will take a path that will bring it towards Sparta. Missouri. It looks like that circulation will also pass pretty close to Ozark, to the south of Ozark, but in the general direction of Sparta. Now, let's get back north to the confirmed tornado now. This is a confirmed tornado that we have located east of Battlefield now, is where that tornado is currently located. It looks like the circulation is going to be located pretty close to Plainview Road. Appears to be where that possible, or not possible any longer, confirmed tornado is located, near Plainview Road to the east of Battlefield. This will continue on its course. It should track, looks like roughly just south of James River. So if you live in areas from, say, the Nature Center, near the Nature Center, near Springfield Lake, west of there, south of James River, we've got a confirmed tornado that's going to be tracking along that general corridor. So areas along and just south of James River are most highly under the gun with this tornado that is currently located east of Battlefield. Again, this, folks, is a confirmed tornado, so please take shelter, take this seriously. This is a fast-moving storm. You will not have much time to take shelter, and then this storm will move east out of your area. But currently, it looks like that tornado is located a little east of Battlefield, moving roughly east-northeast at about 45 miles per hour.
We have a new tornado warning now to the south for Stone and Taney counties until 1:45. This is a radar indicated. It's a severe thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado. It's just to the south of Branson. Looks like it does not include the city of Branson, but it does include Hollister. So this is just to the south of the Branson area.
This is a circulation that we've been tracking from northwest Arkansas. This is the same one that moved through northwest Carroll County. And it looks like that circulation is now located just northwest of Blue Eye. Looks like it will be crossing Highway 13 northwest of Blue Eye here shortly, and then it will continue to track on off toward the east. What is the forward movement on that one? 60 miles per hour?
Yes, moving east at 60 miles per hour. So let me get the arrival times on there, since that is
okay. So this is our new tornado warning, folks. This is for southern sections of Stone County into southern sections of Taney County. Looks like the tornado threat extends from areas from near Kimberling City to Branson and south down to the state line. Our possible tornado located right about there, just to the northwest of Blue Eye, and it will be tracking east. Is it east?
Yes. East at 60 miles per hour.
East movement at 60 miles per hour. Taking some power hits here at the station, probably due to lightning, maybe wind. So it could get a little glitchy here, folks, but we're going to stay with this as this continues to track through. Again, right now, looking at a new tornado warning. This is in effect for southern Stone County. So if you live in southern Stone County, particularly closer to the state line, Blue Eye and west, a possible tornado moving through over the next few minutes, and then that tornado threat will continue east. If this circulation holds, and that circulation has been around a little while, it will continue east into southern sections of Taney County, remaining generally south of Branson and Hollister. But again, areas across southern Taney County will be under the gun. This appears to be where our circulation looks like about right in here. I've got another radar product that's a little bit easier in terms of like really differentiating where these circulations are. But right now, just a quick look at this. It looks like it's about right in here to the west-northwest of Blue Eye. Okay, so now, Elisa, if we can, let's go back to the top. And let's take a look at this tornado that is confirmed in southern Greene County, moving across the south side of Springfield. Again, right now, tornado warning remains in effect there, yes?
It looks like they just, let me see, it's hard to see the box. Okay, so it looks like they just chopped it up where they're eliminating some of those areas that were in the warning back to the west. So now it does not include Battlefield anymore, since, as we mentioned, these storms are moving east very quickly. So that tornado warning did get trimmed up back to the west pretty fast here. So let's look at where it looks like the circulation is now to the east of Battlefield.
The tornado looks like it's now east of Kansas Expressway, very close to James River, east of Kansas Expressway, and just to the north of James River. That one is tracking northeast at 45 miles per hour. This tornado has been confirmed, folks, back when it was near Battlefield. That tornado is, again, now tracking just north of James River. It's east of Kansas Expressway, and it appears that it is west of Glenstone. So roughly between Kansas Expressway and Glenstone, or near, that would put it very close to National. just north of James River is where this tornado is. Again, this has been a confirmed tornado. When the circulation was back over Battlefield, every reason to believe that it is still there. Please take shelter right now if you live, again, near the James River corridor. Looks like that tornado threat is now spreading now through the Galloway area. And the latest radar scan that we've just gotten looks like that tornado threat has now made its way into Galloway. So it looks like it is currently located very close to Highway 65, north of Highway 60. This would put it on the east side of Springfield. Just some roads that I can see: Woodstock Drive, East Battlefield Road. So this would be on the east end of Battlefield Road, very close to Highway 65, it appears. That is where that tornado is currently located, and it is tracking northeast or east-northeast at about 45 miles per hour, and it looks like it will now stay to the north of Highway 60 as it continues to track across the east side of Springfield.
Some updates that we've had with this particular circulation that came over Battlefield is, while the circulation is still strong, it's still there, it's still warned, we're noting that it has loosened up a little bit. It's not quite as tight as it was over Battlefield, so they dropped the observed tag with this tornado warning, where it's now radar indicated, but it is still nonetheless a very tight and strong circulation, and this was confirmed on the ground previously. So again, it's a dangerous storm. We've got those damaging winds in there. Even the damaging wind threat extends up towards Springfield, where the circulation may not be near there, but because this whole line is bending and bowing, we've got that damaging wind threat spreading up from Springfield down to the south.
Let's go ahead and shift our view down to the south to west of Sparta. Appears we've got a pretty good circulation there. There is a tornado warning in effect for Ozark and Sparta. Looks like a possible tornado now located either east of Ozark. It looks like we've got a pair of circulations. One is just east-northeast of Ozark, and another one is located to the southeast of Ozark. Shelter release, damaging winds will be moving through.
If you can still hear us, I don't know.
Hello?
You were going in and out. Okay. I don't know if you guys can hear us, but okay, hello?
Yeah, we took a power hit there, folks. Again, these storms are moving through Springfield, so we're going to stay with it. We're going to assume that we are still on the air. Again, looking at several different possible tornadoes. The tornado that we had moving across the south side of Greene County near James River, it is no longer observed. It was observed back when it was in Battlefield, but that tornado threat still is there, and it looks like that tornado threat is now moving east of Highway 65, pretty close to the east end of Battlefield Road. Further south, also looking at, again, a couple of different circulations here within the line. One located east-northeast of Ozark, another one located to the southeast of Ozark. Those two circulations are tracking east-northeast very quickly and will threaten areas here along, this is Highway 14, threaten areas near Highway 14 here over the next, say, 5 to 10 minutes. That means if you live in Sparta or near Highway 14 west of Sparta, your tornado threat is increasing right now and will continue to track on off toward the east-northeast. Very, very quickly. It appears that we may have a tornado here west of Sparta. Looking at a product called correlation coefficient, I'm seeing a pretty big drop right there. This is west of Sparta. That tells me that we may have some debris being generated by a possible tornado here west of Sparta. So Highway 14, if you live near Highway 14 west of Sparta, looking for a crossroad here, Oak Ridge Road. So if you live along Oak Ridge Road where it intersects Highway 14, looks like we may have a tornado on the ground. We're getting what's called a debris signature on radar on correlation coefficient that allows us to see where a possible tornado may be developing. And what we're looking at... It
doesn't look as good on ours, Jamie, but it kind of in this vicinity?
It's right there, just to the west of Sparta there. If we...
the smaller one.
Yeah. There's that drop right there to the west of Sparta. That appears to be where, if we can go ahead and put our scope on. We can see what the circulation looks like. That'll give us a pretty good idea. So that's a little bit delayed, but that should be located right about in there. So looking at radar right now, again, if you live near Highway 14 and Oak Ridge Road, where that intersection is, another west-east route very close to where the circulation is 125. northwest of Sparta. This is where we have what appears to me to be a tornado on the ground. I'm seeing a signature here on radar that would indicate that we probably have a tornado generating debris that is being picked up by radar. This is located just west of Sparta. Just north of Highway 14, and that will continue to track toward the east-northeast at 45 miles per hour. If you live along Highway 14 as it cuts across Sparta or north of Sparta in that same general area, please take shelter with a possible tornado moving through your area. I'm seeing some signs on radar that indicate that we may have a tornado on the ground in that location.
Just getting some messages from some of our reporters saying that we did go out for just a couple of seconds, but everything's fine on their end.
I'm also seeing what appears to be maybe a bit of a debris signature here east of Highway 65 here in eastern Greene County. This is northeast of Galloway. That matches up very nicely with where that circulation was moving across the south end of Springfield. This is just looking at, let's see, this is Highway D and State Farm Road 199. Near that location where those roads intersect is approximately where it looks like we may have a debris signature on radar and a possible tornado. So again, looking at several different locations here on the line. At least if we can, let's just kind of go down the line here and talk about where these different tornado warnings are in effect.
So we're going to start at the top.
This out. Yeah, let's start at the top. Again, what we're looking at right here is the line of severe storms making its way across Greene County, and you can see right there, this is where I think we have a possible tornado. This is located just east of Highway 65 and northeast of Galloway. Again, seeing some signs there that we may have a debris signature. That is, again, northeast of Galloway. It looks like in our latest radar scan that's kind of been blown out as the line has rapidly moved on off to the east, so we may have to shift our focus on the scope a little bit so we can get a better idea of where that circulation is now. Again, it looks like that has now shifted into the Turner's area. And it looks like it has weakened somewhat, so hopefully some good news there. But again, that has been a longer-lived circulation that we have tracked across the south end of Springfield, now east of Springfield, located in the vicinity of Turner's. If we can, Elisa, let's shift our focus further south. We've got a couple other tornado-warned areas within this line. One is this tornado warning that's in effect for the Sparta area. The tornado threat, again, looks like it's now shifting east and northeast of Sparta. Looks like we may have our circulation located right in here. So it's been tracking roughly in this fashion. This is the general track that it looks like that circulation has taken. Again, looking at radar, I have seen some signs that maybe there was a debris signature associated with that circulation, which would indicate that we may have had a tornado on the ground. When I was looking at that just a few minutes ago, it looks like that circulation, we may have a pair of them, one located right here and then another one located right here. But if you live anywhere along this line, please take shelter, as that tornado threat is very real with this line of severe storms as it moves very quickly east across your area. Again, the tornado threat looks like it has now shifted east of Sparta, but it does remain for other areas here in northeastern Christian County, particularly areas from, say, Bruner and north across northeastern Christian County, and that threat may get into southwestern Webster County. We do have a tornado warning that does extend into that area, and it looks like that line is going to hold together, and that circulation may indeed hold together. Again, you can see how Elisa was kind of showing us that area. Further south, if we can, this is a tornado warning that we've been tracking. This is a circulation. It looks like here's our little nub right there. Circulation located right about in here. That is located right on Highway 65. So it looks like south of Hollister, here right on top of Highway 65 is where we have a possible tornado. That will continue to track roughly east at 60 miles per hour. So it looks like the tornado threat is now beginning to shift in southern Taney County east of Highway 65, and the tornado threat has ended in southern Stone County. So if you live in and around Blue Eye, across southern Stone County, you are no longer under the gun. The tornado threat has ended, but it is quickly increasing here across southern Taney County, east of Highway 65. Again, it looks like again a possible tornado located right there, very close to Highway 65, tracking east at 60 miles per hour. Any information coming in on?
So the chat went down, but we are still in contact with the Weather Service. We've been Oh wait, looks like it just repopulated
It's
there,
coming.
Beth. But they're saying that they're watching a debris signature for a tornado near Sparta.
Northeast of Sparta.
Yes, in Christian County, and then another one east of 65, south of Sunshine.
What we've been talking about
Right,
here.
both of
Okay.
those. So the Weather Service is still watching those, and while our communications have gone in and out because of the power, we are still in contact with them. So that's what they have been watching. Also seeing reports of incredibly heavy rain with this. Emergency managers saying an inch an hour for rain rates, if not more. So that's also been an issue. Strong circulation south of Rogersville in Christian County. You want to head there?
This is the let's go ahead and zoom in on that. This is the tornado that we have been tracking. That's been moving along Highway 14, north of Highway 14, across the just north of Sparta. It's located right here. This appears to be, and I'm going to go to a different radar site very quickly here. We're looking at a debris signature in that location. And it looks like that debris signature is located right about in here. Go ahead.
Now that's observed. It's a tornado warning that's observed for Christian, Douglas, and Webster. That's the one. It's confirmed near Sparta. A tornado on the ground now, moving east of Ozark at 45 miles per hour.
Yeah, so here's Ozark, well off to the west. Here's Sparta. North of Sparta, it appears that we have a tornado on the ground located roughly where where Elisa is pointing. This is where we're seeing a debris signature on radar. That debris signature, it's on a radar product that allows us to see objects of varying size in the atmosphere. And oftentimes, if you have a wide variation in object sizes that coincides with where you think a tornado is, you're likely looking at a tornado on the ground that's generating debris, putting that debris up in the air for the radar to sense. And again, giving us a very big clue that there's a tornado on the ground. And now we're getting not only that based on radar, but we're also getting visual confirmation of a tornado on the ground here north of Sparta. So if you live here across the northeast corner of Christian County and to southwestern Webster County, please take shelter right now. Confirmed tornado on the ground, moving now across northeastern Christian County. Looks like that tornado will stay south of Rogersville, south of the Highway 60 area in Rogersville, but it will be tracking into southwestern Webster County. Looks like based on this track, it will probably stay on the south side of Highway 60 and south of Fordland, but areas further south across southernmost Webster County and northeastern Christian County under the gun for a tornado. Again, a confirmed tornado north of Sparta, moving east-northeast at, I believe, 45 miles per hour.
Yes.
Very fast movement. This does not give you much time to take shelter, to take action. Please do so because, again, we do have confirmation of a tornado here north of Sparta, pushing east-northeast at 45 miles per hour. And, folks, it's hard. You got to bear with it. This is hard. It's a hard situation because these storms are moving so quickly that radar is actually showing us what's happening in the past, because by the time we get that radar scan in, the line of storms is actually further east from where we're seeing it on the scan that's coming in to the weather lab or coming into the folks at the Weather Service office. Here's where it looks like we have our tornado located right here now on the county line.
Hey, Jamie.
Go ahead.
It looks like they're extending this tornado warning east for the one that was near Rogersville. So now it includes, let me see, Christian, Webster, and Wright. So this tornado warning is now going. They're pushing it farther east and northeast until 2 a.m.
Yeah, we're still getting a very good debris signature on radar too. This is debris signature is southeast of Rogersville. So the town of Rogersville on Highway 60 is located northwest, just northwest of where this tornado is located. It looks like this tornado is currently just southeast of Rogersville, south of Highway 60, right on the county line there, tracking toward the, I will call it more northeast at about 45 miles per hour. We're getting a pretty good debris signature on radar, and the Weather Service folks are talking about this as being a large and extremely dangerous tornado. Again, they've got it moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. Very concerned, based on what we're seeing on radar, that we're looking at some considerable damage out of this tornado as it tracks just southeast of Rogersville, and it looks like it may track very close to Highway 60, but probably kind of hugging the south side of Highway 60 as it moves on off to the northeast at 45 miles per hour. Elisa, if you can, I'm going to get on radar here so that...
Which one?
I'm going to get on the radar that you're on right now, and I'm going to see if I can pull up correlation coefficient. This, folks, is what we're looking at right now. This is where the circulation is. As you can see, this is very close to Zinner, south of Highway 60. Again, if you want just some mile markers there, it looks like this would be located. I'm going to have to remove that portion. Looks like our tornado would be located roughly 3 miles to the southeast of downtown Rogersville, moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. I'm going to switch to a different product called correlation coefficient. Hopefully this thing will pop up and I'll be able to show that, and that does very nicely. Folks, right there, again, this is what we call a debris signature on radar. I'm zoomed in, and right now you can see where that debris signature is. So here's Highway 60, here's Rogersville. That debris signature, again, this big green ball that you see on radar right on top of the county line, this is the radar sensing objects up in the air. Could be tree limbs or trees or anything like that could be picked up by this tornado, and the radar is sensing that, and then through this product it allows us to see where that tornado is generating that debris. So we've got a debris signature right here on the county line. This is located to the north of Highway U here. This is just west of Zinner, and this is going to continue to track in this fashion toward the northeast at 45 miles per hour, just south of Highway 60. So if you live in southern Webster County, especially just south or along Highway 60, please take shelter with the possibility of a large and dangerous tornado moving through your area. Again, it looks like if we can go ahead and broaden out that view just a little bit there. You can see this is State Highway U. It kind of curves around here into northeastern Christian County. So right in here is State Highway U. If you live along State Highway U across southwestern Webster County and in northeastern Christian County, this is where that tornado is located, and it's moving northeast very quickly at 45 miles per hour. If we can, I'm going to go ahead, Lisa.
Well, I know this is the big tornado right now, but we do have a new tornado warning that I want to make sure we can tell viewers. It's a new tornado warning that has been extended east and northeast into Greene and Webster counties. That new one that now includes Marshfield. So they're taking all of these, the boxes are now overlapping each other because they're taking all of these tornado warnings that we've had and pushing them east as this line with all these embedded rotations continues to move east. So this is the new one, guys, right in here.
I'm still, I think, most concerned about this one in southern Webster County. We're still looking at a very strong circulation on radar. We're also looking, again, at a debris signature that coincides with that circulation. So tornado still likely on the ground in southern Webster County. It's currently located to the east of Rogersville and to the south-southwest of Fordland by maybe about 3 miles or so. It's tracking northeast at 45 miles per hour. This is going to bring it pretty close to the south side of Fordland. I think it'll stay just south of Fordland, but it'll move across the south end of Fordland, potentially heading in the general direction of Diggins. That appears to be the track that that tornado is taking. Further north, we've got still a signature here on radar. I'm looking at a storm here just southeast of Stratford, south of Northview. This is getting into, again, west central Webster County to the southwest of Marshfield is where we've got a pretty good signature on radar for a possible tornado. That is heading in the direction of Marshfield. If you live in Northview or Marshfield areas along, and especially just south of the interstate there, please take shelter. Looks like this circulation is going to be moving across your area here over the next 10 minutes or so. So if you live in Northview or Marshfield or just south of I-44 especially, take shelter with a possible tornado moving through over the next 10 minutes.
They're also watching another strong circulation to the south in Taney County. So let's take a look at what's going on down there. So it looks like they've trimmed up that warning back to the west, but they're concerned about the circulation within this warning being a bit strong as well.
Yeah, this is looks like we've got a possible tornado just north of Lowry. This would be on the north side of the state line, just north of Lowry. This is a pretty rural area of Taney County, but again, if you live in that area west of Pro Tem, southwest of Reuter, this is where this tornado is going to be tracking. On radar, it looks pretty impressive, and every reason to believe that we may have a tornado on the ground right there. Not seeing a debris signature yet, but it does look very impressive in terms of our velocity data that we can see here on radar.
Still looking at a strong circulation near Fordland, which is back up to the north. And these tornado warnings here, the ones that again are kind of overlapping a little bit, they've been watching these signatures as well.
This is the tornado that we have been tracking that has been observed. It has also been picked up on radar through debris signature on radar. We're still getting a debris signature on radar near and south of Fordland. It appears that that circulation is located on the south end of Fordland, moving toward Highway 60, and should be crossing Highway 60 west of Diggins here momentarily.
Really quick, Jamie, for anybody in Springfield, I think it's safe to say that they are good to go, out of the clear?
Yeah, if you live in Springfield, in and around Springfield, whether it's Willard, whether it's Republic, whether it's Battlefield, even Rogersville, the tornado threat has ended in your area. The tornado threat has now shifted east of Highway 65 and has made its way into Webster County. If you live in and around areas like Sparta, west back across Ozark, the tornado threat has ended. You're no longer under a tornado warning, as the tornado threat has now shifted east and northeast of your areas. If you live in Branson, the tornado threat is over for your area. That line of severe storms is now located east of you and will continue to track toward the east away from Highway 65. The severe threat does extend, though, into areas around Harrison, where we are looking at a severe thunderstorm warning but not seeing any hints of any tornadic activity. Right now, the concerns for tornadic activity has really shifted north of the state line with the line of storms, which extends from the state line north up to the interstate.
Yeah, that's something good to point out too, because we've been so focused on, of course, as we need to be with some of these communities, but the line of damaging winds still extends from Lebanon all the way down through Arkansas. So even without the tornado warnings, there's still that damaging wind threat that whole way through. And then we're watching those embedded circulations and those more or less three problem spots that we've been watching. The one to the south in Taney, and then of course these signatures near Rogersville here that we've been watching. So those are the most dangerous spots, but that whole line has had damaging winds.
Yeah, I'm going to trade spots with you one more time, because we're going to go down that line. I want to point out where these circulations currently are located. We'll start with Webster County, southwest of Marshfield. If you're watching from Marshfield, we're still concerned about this portion of the line. You can kind of see that little ball down to the southwest on radar. This right here is where we're still finding the threat here. Hold on one second. I'm going to go ahead and I'll draw it on here like this, hopefully. There we go. And we'll move this. Right here is where we have a circulation being picked up on radar. This is just southeast of Northview. It will continue to track roughly in the direction of Marshfield. So that is an area that, again, we are still concerned about for a possible tornado, and a tornado warning remains in effect. Also looking further down the line, we've still got this circulation here located here near Fordland. Looks like that circulation just about on top of or just southeast of Fordland, crossing Highway 60. We're still getting some signs that there may be a tornado there, although that circulation has weakened and the debris signature that was associated with that circulation has faded away. A sign that maybe this thing has been weakening here over time. And we're getting a little update here from the Weather Service office. They're looking at another circulation between Fordland and Northview. Not seeing any debris at this time. Again, that is, if I shift the view, this is the portion of the line that they're looking at right in here. So we're still looking at a circulation here, southeast of Northview, and also right on top or just southeast of Fordland. Two circulations that may produce tornadoes. The one near Fordland has had a history of producing a tornado here over the last 20 minutes. Dropping further south, I'll take that off. I'll adjust the view so that we can look further south down toward the state line. Kind of going down the line there, you don't see anything that really stands out, but we are getting some damaging wind potential with this line as it makes its way into northwestern Douglas County and across southeastern sections of Christian County. Further south, this is where we are picking up still a circulation here on radar. So I bring our scope on down the line, and we're still seeing evidence there to the southwest of Reuter. This is located right there. Still looking at evidence of a possible tornado here. This is west of Pro Tem and to the southwest of Reuter, and that's moving northeast at, I believe, 60 miles per hour. Should be moving into the Reuter area and Pro Tem here within the next 10 minutes or so. So that's kind of what we're looking at right now north of the state line. We've got 3 different circulations currently, but these things come and they go, and then a new one pops up. So folks, if you live east of where this squall line is currently located, please stay vigilant, stay with us, stay watchful, as we are going to continue to find a severe weather threat with this line of severe storms as it tracks toward the east, roughly at about 50 to 60 miles per hour. Very fast moving line of severe storms. Again, this is your classic squall line, and because of the wind energy associated with this storm system, the way the wind energy is intersecting this line of severe storms, we're getting these spin-ups, these tornadoes. They don't typically last very long. They tend to be on the weak side, but that damage threat is certainly there. That danger threat is certainly there, and it's very transient in nature. Kind of comes and it goes, and then we'll see it pop up in a different part of the line. But again, watching a line of severe storms now from western Webster County south all the way down into northwest Arkansas.
Getting a couple of viewer, just to mention this, getting some viewer comments concerned about a live feed online since they're needing to go into shelters that may not have a TV. We are now live on the Color 10 Facebook page where you could see the radar and exactly what we're talking about. You can hear Jamie, Beth, and I. So again, if you're watching, are concerned about needing to be away from the TV to stay safe, we are now live on Facebook, so you can head there.
Another concern is, there's a lot of power outage reportages as well. So that is also why we are on Facebook Live. We cannot get it onto the website live streaming. Just go on Facebook Live.
Yeah, it's on Facebook, guys, if you need us. And if you've got questions, you can comment on them too. And if we could read them and answer you out loud on TV, we'll be able to try to do that for you guys. And
we're still watching the circulation southwest of Marshfield. It's faded a bit, but it's sort of consolidated back around that one circulation that we've been tracking from out of Christian County now into southern Webster County. That circulation located right here to the northwest of Seymour, that is tracking northeast. I can take you back in time here as we look, and you can see that circulation. See it as it makes its way out of northeastern Christian County into southern Webster County. It's crossed Highway 60, and now it's peeling off to, looks like more of a north-northwesterly motion up toward Highway 38. That circulation should stay southeast of Marshfield, but certainly if you live between Marshfield and Seymour, tornado threat right now, and that tornado threat looks like it's going to be making its way into east central and northeastern sections of Webster County over the next 5 to 10 minutes.
Still trying to catch up on some of these severe thunderstorm warnings.
And looking further south, again, still concerned about this little nub here in southern sections of, southeastern sections of Taney County. I'm going to go ahead and kind of adjust a view that I have on a different radar product here. It looks like that circulation, the core of it is located just to the southwest of Reuter. If you live in Reuter, I hope you're taking shelter right now. Again, that tornado threat is going to be moving through your area momentarily. Again, I'll go ahead and point out here on radar where it appears that is. Highway 160 here, as it runs into Reuter, it appears that the circulation is located very close to that area just southwest of Reuter, and it should be making its way into Reuter here momentarily. In fact, it probably is already making its way through right now and will be tracking northeast of Reuter. Possible tornado, have not gotten confirmation on radar or through any observations, but based on what we're seeing on radar, certainly a significant circulation right there.
Getting some questions. Is Springfield in the clear? Yes. Springfield is in the clear. You are good to go to bed. Yeah,
our severe weather threat has ended here in Springfield. Again, kind of zooming in on that storm near Reuter, you can see that sort of ball shape here. little hook appendage, kind of a ball shape. So that's got me concerned that maybe we're getting a little bit more visual evidence that we do indeed have a possible tornado around Reuter. Should be in the vicinity of Reuter right now and tracking toward the northeast. It looks like this will take it across east central areas of Taney County to the east of Highway 125. Also, I'm going to go back up to the north, up toward the circulation that's near Diggins, getting a report from the Weather Service office that we're beginning to see more of a debris signature with that storm again.
Just as something that I've been working on with the newsroom, they're working to confirm a couple of things. There's a tree fire somewhere, I think, in Springfield, possibly with lightning. So we're working on getting information about that and video to see what that looks like. So that's something that the newsroom is working on. It looks like, Jamie, we have another tornado warning near Ozark and Taney County right now, too. These tornado warnings just keep piling on that line.
Okay, first we're gonna go ahead and take a look at this. This appears to be south of Highway 38, southeast of Marshfield. That circulation right there to the southwest of High Prairie, south of Highway 38, southeast of Marshfield. That appears to be a tornado that may be trying to reorganize. We are getting some hints that maybe another debris signature is beginning to develop. That circulation has tightened up a little bit. Again, this is located southeast of Marshfield, and it is tracking northeast at a very fast clip, should be making its way across Highway 38 in the vicinity of High Prairie. If you live around that area, please take shelter.
The new tornado warning to the south includes Ozark and Taney counties until 2:15. This one is radar indicated. There's a circulation over Taney County. It's the tightest near Reuter.
Yeah.
So that's what they're tracking there. Radar indicated rotation. Extensive straight line winds were located near Diamond City is what that wording is in the warning. So again, even if these circulations, the rotations aren't reaching the ground, that whole line is capable of damaging winds. We're seeing some of these reports come in of damaging winds actually being there, and it's still moving really fast, Jamie. We've got that whole line moving east at 60 miles per hour. So that forward speed alone could do some damage as well, no?
Yeah, well, and just kind of getting back to that storm located near Reuter, that circulation looks like it's tightened up a little bit. So, again, we haven't had any confirmation of a tornado, but still certainly some signs there that we may have a tornado either developing or on the ground. This is east of Reuter. If you live especially in western Ozark County between Theodosia and Long Run up toward Thornfield, take this seriously, take shelter. This is a fast-moving storm, and it will be moving through your communities over the next 10 minutes or so. I'll go ahead. Do you guys remember the forward movement on that one?
60 miles per hour. The one in Taney County is 60.
60 miles per hour. So based on that movement, I'm going to kind of broaden out our view just a hair there. It looks like it's located right about in there, and this is the track that it is taking, roughly along that line. So it looks like it's going to be moving across Long Run over the next 5 minutes, and it should be moving near Thornfield in the next 10 minutes. And then from there, it looks like it will pass to the north of Gainesville roughly 20 minutes or so from now. Now, that said, we have a tornado warning in effect for areas further south across the rest of Ozark County down to the state line. And that's because, again, in this environment that we're looking at tonight, we could find very rapid development further south on this squall line that's going to be advancing northeast into southern Ozark County. We could find very rapid development of a tornado given the conditions that are present. But right now, the circulation that is currently trackable, that is visible on radar, is this one that's located just northeast of Reuter or just southwest of Long Run. And it is tracking a little north of east at about 60 miles per hour. Very fast movement, and it should be in the Long Run area within the next few minutes.
Let me, Jamie, I could put those arrival times on there since it is moving pretty quick. I think that's a very important point with these storms. Is that they're moving incredibly fast, so unfortunately that doesn't give much time for action. You want to take action ahead of when it's getting to you because it is coming in real quick. So again, these arrival times are just within the next 5 to 10 minutes for areas like Long Run and Notting Hill and Dot in the Taney County area, just because the circulation is moving very quickly. And this is just one of multiple tornado warnings that we're watching. We also have we still have that cluster up just to the east of Springfield with those areas of rotation where those polygons kind of interlock and interact. They kind of overlap a little bit because we've got this line with all these embedded circulations. So multiple problem spots here that we've been tracking.
Yeah, if you live in Stratford, your tornado threat has ended. I believe in Marshfield, the tornado threat has ended for your area. It looks like it is now shifted east of you. If you live in Seymour, the tornado threat has ended in your area, but easternmost Webster County into northwest and west central parts of Wright County, certainly here over the next 10 minutes or so, you are going to be under the gun for a possible tornado. Currently still looking at a circulation pretty evident on radar. This is to the south of Highway 38 that runs east out of Marshfield toward the Hartville area. This is in east central Webster County, still looking at a circulation just south of Highway 38 there. That is one of several circulations. There are a couple other circulations that we're finding right now. One appears to be to the south of Rome or southwest of Squires. This is just south of the Douglas County line here in northwestern Ozark County. The strongest circulation, though, really at this time on the entire line appears to be the one that's located just to the southwest of Long Run. That, again, a possible tornado very close to Long Run. Looks like that tornado, that possible tornado should pass to the northwest of Theodosia based on its current movement, but will be moving close to areas around Long Run and then between Theodosia and Thornfield.
They've cut Christian County out of that tornado warning, continuing it for Webster and Wright County. Circulation in Webster County currently about 7 to 8 miles southeast of Marshfield.
So that new polygon, guys, that you see blinking, that's where they've kind of chopped it up back to the west, where we had just mentioned those areas were now out of the woods, and it continues until 2 a.m. for the rest of that area, where we're still, let me put this velocity on.
We
right
can
here.
go ahead and say this is pretty easy. If you live near and west of Highway 65, the severe weather threat has come to an end. East of Highway 65, especially along and south of I-44, east of Highway 65, the tornado threat continues as we watch this squall line move east.
Yeah, so, that has already been reflected in the way that they have been chopping away at the tornado watch. So here's a look at that bigger picture, guys, if you are trying to see where you're at home. And that's what Jamie was talking about here, just that line down the middle. Where we're to the west of Highway 65, where now that line has passed, we're seeing areas just in the clear here, and you can see that we don't really have those storms, maybe just some showers. And then if you go to the east of Highway 65, that's where we have that line pretty much from Lebanon straight down towards Jasper. This whole thing has the potential for some damaging winds where that segment has just been bending. And then we've got those problem spots with the embedded rotation with those tornado warnings in southern Missouri.
Yeah, and you know, you're kind of talking about that entire line there, still looking at several different specific circulations. And for me, looking at the line and where the circulations are, I've got two that I'm most concerned about. One is the one located here very close to Highway 38 in east central Webster County. That circulation, it's there. It's one that we've been tracking for a long time. I believe it has already produced a tornado when it was near Sparta earlier this evening. And then also further south, still tracking a strong circulation near Long Run. That has been a very strong circulation as it made its way out of southern Stone County, then Taney County, now into western Ozark County. Have not gotten any reports from that particular circulation of a tornado, but radar certainly has been hinting at that possibility that we have indeed had one at some point along that track. And we're going to continue to watch especially those two areas very, very closely.
And those are the two that the Weather Service has been noting in our notes here, is that those are the two that they are also most concerned about and watching very closely. Still getting those severe thunderstorm warnings to be extended eastward. Those have been the warnings that have been continued to be extended eastward. 60-mile-per-hour winds. Continuing with you could see the yellows there. Those are the severe thunderstorm warnings that are continue to be extended eastward as this whole line moves eastward. So those are some of the newer updates as far as the warnings go, as these just continuing to plow eastward.
And folks, if you're watching, say you are watching from Mountain Grove, or you're watching from Rolla or Salem or Eminence or West Plains or Alton, it's going to be a late night. It already is. We're coming up on 2 o'clock in the morning. This line of severe storms is going to move through your area. And we do expect that line of severe storms to hold together and pose a tornado threat and a damaging wind threat as it moves through your location. So continue to watch us. We will pass along the warnings as they come in, and we'll try to highlight within that warning where these circulations are. It will be kind of a challenge, especially as this line gets further east and away from the radar site here in Springfield, because the beam on the radar gets higher and higher up in the atmosphere the further away from the radar site it gets. So we're not able to really analyze very well or as well what's going on close to the surface. And in these kinds of environments, these kinds of scenarios, these circulations tend to be rather shallow, and they also tend to be rather brief. But that doesn't mean that we don't have that threat of tornadoes, even though the radar may have a tough time seeing those circulations. So folks, again, stay vigilant, continue to watch what's going on with this line of severe storms as it approaches your area, because the severe weather threat is going to continue until that squall line moves through your community. Now, the good news is the severe weather threat has ended along and west of Highway 65. I think areas north of I-44, the severe weather threat looks relatively minimal, but near and south of I-44, east of Highway 65, the severe weather threat is going to continue until that line moves through. And that's going to take a few more hours. It looks like it's not going to be until about maybe 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning before we get that line fully out of our viewing area. And as long as that line of storms is impacting our viewing area, we're going to continue to pass along those updates, because again, especially it being night, that makes it especially dangerous with these storms as they move through. We want to make sure that we can get you that information and show you what's going on. Right now, Elisa is highlighting where we still have tornado warnings. Again, areas from Lebanon south down through Grove Spring, here in the west central areas of Wright County. This is where that squall line is currently centered. It's going to be along this corridor that we still have that threat for tornado. West of there, that tornado threat has ended. Looking at radar right now, again, rather difficult to pinpoint exactly where that circulation is. It looks like it has weakened quite a bit, but we'll go ahead and kind of get as good an idea as we can. It looks like that circulation would be located probably a little north of Highway 38, and it looks like it's either right on or just east of the county line west of Hartville. So if you live near Highway 38 west of Hartville, tornado threat is moving through your area right now. I can say that that circulation, though, does appear to be quite a bit weaker than it has looked. This has been a very dangerous storm in particular, because it looks like we have had a tornado on the ground with that likely did generate some damage. Certainly had we had at least one observation of a tornado, I believe, near Sparta, and we had some confirmation on radar through one of our radar products that showed us that there was likely debris associated with a tornado with that circulation. But again, that circulation looks quite a bit weaker now that it's making its way into west central Wright County to the west of Hartville, very close to or just north of Highway 38.
We're starting to get some damage reports in. We're seeing that the fire department is responding to damage to trees, power lines, and homes in Rogersville. So Rogersville waking up to some damage this morning. The fire department is responding there. Taney County also responding to some power lines down near the state line and Highway 65. There's at least some trees blocking Highway 86 near Table Rock Lake, so they're watching there. So again, the damage reports are slow to come in on the overnight because it's dark. You can't really see what's going on out there until the sun comes up, but we're starting to see some of these, at least wind damage reports of the trees down, power lines down in parts of Rogersville and in Taney County. And I expect once daybreak hits and the sun comes up, we'll have a better idea and some more reports. Again, we also had a report of a fire in the Springfield area to a tree. My assumption would be possibly a lightning strike. strike there. We do have Lauren Barnes is actually going to check that out and see what's going on there to give us an update on that. Willow Springs is opening up storm shelters. If you're in Willow Springs and you need somewhere to seek shelter, we've got some storm shelters up. Again, it's just tough on the overnight because it's dark. You can't really see what's going on, so just be careful.
Well, Lisa, if we can, let's go ahead and shift back down into Ozark County. That storm near Long Run, it has been showing some hints that there's been maybe a debris signature associated with that circulation. It's not been as strong as what we've seen with some of the other circulations further northwest, but again, it's further away from the radar site, so you're looking higher up in the storm. But that circulation, it's still there. It looks like it's centered between Theodosia and Thornfield, about halfway between Theodosia and Thornfield. And again, there's been some hints that maybe there was a debris signature in that location. State Highway Z would be a road in the vicinity of where that circulation is. This is southeast of Thornfield. A north-south road that I can find here, County Road 829. In the vicinity of State Highway Z is where that circulation is currently located. So still looking at a tornado threat that's ongoing in Ozark County, specifically with that circulation, but I'm also seeing evidence of a circulation here to the north of Squire, or not to the north, I apologize for that, just to the south of Squires. It looks like we may have a circulation. This is just north of the county line, located in southwestern Douglas County.
This little number here?
Yeah, exactly. So technically, I don't believe that's tornado warned, but it's very close to the tornado warning here in Ozark County. So if you live near Squires or east of Squires over toward Gentryville, south of State Highway 14, please stay extra vigilant in that area, as again, it looks like we may have a weak circulation here to the southeast of Squires. The stronger circulation is to the west-northwest of Gainesville, or southeast of Thornfield, or southwest or west-southwest of Willoit in Ozark County. That's the stronger one that's still showing some hints of maybe a debris signature with it. So sometimes with these events, some of the tornadoes that happen occur over very rural locations. That is the case with this one in Ozark County. So it may not be until tomorrow morning before we have a better idea as to what exactly happened with that part of the line that tracked across Taney County into Ozark County.
I think it's important to keep just widening out and showing everybody the big picture, because I think sometimes it's easy to get lost in some of the, very specifics, which we need to do, but then to let viewers know that while we've been watching pretty much 3 problem spots, there is still half of the area that is in the clear. So we've got some showers around Springfield, but even that lightning intensity has come down there, at least on the back side of the front. Lots of lightning in this cluster from Ava down to the south. And again, that's been posed as a danger. We're tracking a fire that could have sparked because of this lightning. So a lot of lightning strikes on this line. Just a very intense line of thunderstorms with the damaging wind threats as well. We're seeing some of these reports come in, and we've got the newsroom working on trying to see where all those reports are at.
And Beth, you've been kind of running back and forth between the newsroom and here. Do you have anything that you can report to us? Have they heard anything in the newsroom?
Nope, they are still going through reports just like we are, going through some Facebook messages and trying to get a little more information about some power outages, because there are trees that are down with power lines down as well. FEMA safe rooms are now open at West Plain Middle School and South Fork School in Howell County. All
right, good news there that those shelters are opening up. Right now, Lisa has shifted our focus back down to the south here in southern Douglas County into Ozark County. Looks like we've got a little circulation right here. This is to the southeast of Squires, south of Highway 14, southeast of Ava. This has been tracking roughly in this fashion, and Lisa has gone ahead and marked exactly what we're looking at there. Also to the west of Willoit, we're looking at what has been the stronger circulation. It has been the standout circulation in that part of the line that's been making its way east, just north of the state line, across southern Stone, then Taney, now Ozark County. So we are looking at the potential for a tornado here near Willoit. You need to be taking shelter. Again, if you have not, please do so now. Lisa?
I just wanted to let everybody know that those 2 tornado warnings that we were watching to the east of Springfield have been cleared. So now the one problem spot that we're watching is what what you were just talking about near Long Run, near Squires and Taney County. But areas just to the east of Springfield have been cleared. They've also cleared the watch for Barry, Christian, Green, and Lawrence and Polk and Stoltz. So again, we're seeing the watch be cleared back to the west with the tornado watch, and now those warnings have been cleared. So let's go back down to the south where that's that last, at least for now, remaining threat.
And that's been the good news with this kind of event. It is a fast-moving, fast-hitting event that will be in and out here within a few hours. And so we've already seen the severe weather threat end along and west of Highway 65, and it will continue to end from the west in locations east of Highway 65. But we've got a little while still to go before we can say that we're completely done with the severe weather threat. But we are heading in the right direction. Still looking at an ongoing severe weather threat, though, along this line.
Whoa.
New tornado warning has just been issued, and I would guess it's for that circulation to the east of Squires. Yep, the way they've got that thing centered up on that part of the line. So new tornado warning has just been issued. This is for areas east of Squires across Gentryville. This is a tornado warning through 2:30 in the morning. You can see roughly where that circulation is. It's right about in there. It's to the south of Highway 14 and to the east of Squires, and it's tracking in this general fashion. So Lisa's going to go ahead and kind of broaden this out, and I believe you're going to go ahead and kind of plot that out for viewers right now so they can see where exactly this possible tornado will be moving.
It is. So it's radar indicated, and it is, again, for the threat of tornadoes with some radar indicated rotation and those damaging winds. Now, this piece of the line, Jamie, is moving to the east at 65 miles per hour. So this forward speed is, again, very quick, picking up. That puts the storms in Gentryville within the next 10 minutes around 2:12, and then near Topaz at 2:20. So this is moving incredibly fast. Just the forward speed alone could cause some issues because it's moving at 65 miles per hour. Then along this line, we're looking at the threat of those damaging winds. We do have some radar indicated rotation for the possibility of a tornado. So you want to seek shelter right now because this is moving incredibly quick. Even if you're still out ahead of it, get in the basement or your storm shelter now, because before you know it, this thing will be near you. So if you're on the eastern end of that tornado warning, seek shelter now, even though it's still a little bit of ways away, because it's coming in quick within 5 to 10 minutes in some spots.
Right, yeah, and right now with that new tornado warning that's just been issued, that circulation appears to be centered south of Highway 14, very close to County Road P321. It is a general location of where it looks like that circulation is located. So if you live in and around that area, and especially east of that area, down Highway 14 toward Gentryville, please take shelter. Possible tornado will be moving through your area over the next 10 minutes. It's a fast-moving tornado, moving east at 65 miles per hour, and it looks like that circulation is going to track along and maybe just south of Highway 14 toward Gentryville.
Yes, and that is the one problem spot now is these two warnings that are now to the south. An update on timing of that. We've got the one in Ozark County now. Again, Taney has been cleared out of that, but Ozark County goes until 2:15 for that tornado warning, so another 10 minutes there. And then this new one includes Douglas, Howe, Ozark, Texas counties until 2:30. Looks like they're extending that severe thunderstorm warning as well, because as we've been mentioning, it's this whole line of damaging winds. We're looking at the embedded circulations, but the severe thunderstorm warnings now continue to push to the east and includes parts of Texas County up to the north until 2:45 for those straight line winds up to 60 miles per hour. This new severe thunderstorm warning that I also have highlighted also includes a tornado possible tag. That means that there are some areas of weak rotation in there that maybe might be too weak to pull the trigger on a tornado warning right now, but they're watching. It looks like it might be that one right there, Jamie. Just to the west of Maines as they're watching.
Yeah, west of Manus, north of Mansfield. Looks like we've got a little circulation right there. So right now, based on what I'm seeing, I think we have 3 different circulations specifically. One is west of Manus. That is not currently tornado warned, but again, as Elisa said, that could be upgraded very, very quickly. Just depends on how strong that circulation gets and the next radar scan or two. If it intensifies, they may go ahead and pull the trigger on that tornado warning. So if you live particularly near Manus and west of Manus, across northwestern Wright County. Certainly looking at a damaging wind threat, and that could get upgraded to a tornado warning. Also further south, we are looking at, again, the extension of that line of severe storms across Douglas County into Ozark County. There are several different embedded circulations. One has been located to the south of Highway 14 west of Gentryville. Appears that that circulation is still intact. Located, again, south of Highway 14 to the west of Gentryville. And then further south, we have a couple of other circulations that I'm watching. One is a circulation that's been very intense over the last hour. It's weakened a little bit, but it still looks fairly strong, and that is located near just to the east of Beloit, there in Ozark County. And it looks like we have maybe hints of a little bit of a circulation to the northwest of Gainesville in Ozark County. If you live anywhere in that area here in Ozark County, you've got Highway 5 right there. East of Highway 5 in Ozark County, still tornado warned, still looking at that risk of tornadoes as that line is continuing to push east across Ozark County. And again, these circulations, some of them have been very transient. They come and they go, but they still pose a threat for producing at least a brief tornado. We have had some embedded stronger circulations. One of those is currently located now east-northeast of Beloit, and we've been tracking that one really since it was back in southern Stone County.
Okay, the Weather Service noting that they're still watching, so this little area of rotation that we pointed out near Grove Spring, they're watching this. This is still covered by the tornado possible tag of the severe thunderstorm warning, but they're watching for a possible upgrade on that as that circulation continues to spin there. So again, this one's covered by that tornado possible tag and the severe thunderstorm warning, but could very quickly get upgraded. So please keep your eyes peeled. If you're along Highway 5 near Grove Spring, Mains, it's just to the west of Mains, you want to keep an eye out there. That is not a tornado yet. Getting some pictures of trees down in Sparta. Again, these damage reports starting to come in, but I expect more of them to be rolling in once the sun comes up. But let's take it back down to these problem spots to the south.
So we're going to go ahead and we're going to take a look. Let's go back up to Manus. Looking west of Manus, we are still looking at a circulation there. That circulation is located east of Highway 5, east of Grove Spring, and west of Manus. It appears to be pretty close to State Highway TT that runs north-south. This is east of Grove Spring. That appears to be where that circulation is currently located. It looks rather weak and rather broad, but again, it could intensify very quickly. So again, we're watching that circulation. Also further south, we've got a couple different circulations. Both of these are currently tornado warned. One is right on top of Highway 14 here to the west of Gentryville. It appears that that circulation is pretty close to County Road 14-246. This is west of Gentryville. That one is tracking roughly east, maybe just north of east, and will pass pretty close to Gentryville within the next 5 minutes. Another circulation that we're tracking is to the east of Beloit and north of Gainesville. That one has weakened, certainly a lot weaker than it was showing earlier this evening, but it's still evident on radar, and it is tracking in the general direction of Dora. Looks like it will remain to the north of Gainesville, but heading in the general direction of Dora, just to kind of give folks a heads up there.
Tornado watch has been canceled for Taney and Webster County, continues for counties east of Highway 65. That continues until 5 a.m. If you live in Willow Springs, they are now setting off the storm sirens.
So there you go. That's an update to the tornado watch. You can see trimmed away generally west of Highway 65. Those areas in the red is where the tornado watch still continues until 5, right, Beth? Mm-hmm. And then those smaller boxes are where we've got the tornado warnings, the 2 tornado warnings that are left here and here. And then these are the severe thunderstorm warnings where we still have that threat of damaging winds.
If we can, Elisa, let's go back to a radar view showing the entire area. I want to point something out. New tornado warning, though, just coming in. This is
Douglas, Howell, and Ozark.
Includes West Plains.
So this is for areas. Yeah, this is for that line that's already generating circulations in Douglas County and Ozark County. They've just pushed that warning further east.
So that it goes until 2:45. This is radar indicated, capable of producing a tornado. It's still moving at a really fast clip at 65 miles per hour. That is the forward speed of this thing.
And you can see that pretty clearly, Lisa, where the circulation is located right in there. This is, here's Noble, Gainesville, so northeast of Gainesville, where Elisa has put in the marker. That's heading in the general direction of Dora, and you are now under a tornado warning. Please take shelter if you live in northeastern Ozark County into southeastern Douglas County especially, because we've got a couple of different circulations. We've got this one located now, again, to the west-southwest of Dora, and we've got a circulation here to the north of Gentryville, located right here between Gentryville and Van Zant. This one looks like it is now tracked north of Highway 14, and it will continue to track in this general direction. This has been the motion that circulation has been taking. So it looks like this circulation is going to get dangerously close to Van Zant, but I think it'll stay on the south side of Van Zant. The circulation here in northeastern Ozark County looks like it will be moving very close to Dora as it continues to track toward the east. If we can, Elisa, let's take the scope off. Let's broaden out the view, and I want to point something out for viewers at home. If you're watching from northern Arkansas, this is why I think your severe weather threat is not going to be, at least based on what I'm seeing right now, it's not like what we're seeing north of the state line. You'll see how that line sort of extends down to the southwest, while north of the state line, the line actually extends to the north and then kind of curves off to the northwest. This portion of the line is positioned in a more favorable direction to generate tornadoes. Based on the flow in the atmosphere right now, this portion of the line here north of the state line is aligned in a way that it has a much easier time generating these little bitty shallow circulations versus areas south of the state line where the line extends off to the southwest. So that's why I think right now, at least at this stage of the game, it appears that the higher severe weather threat, including tornadoes, may actually be north of the state line up to about I-44. I don't want to make you let your guard down south of the state line. I just think that in those areas, based on what I'm seeing on radar right now, the severe weather threat does not appear to be as high south of the state line in northern Arkansas, at least at this time. Now, if later this evening, here over the next hour to 2 hours, as that line continues to push east, that portion of the line becomes more north-south or even northwest-southeast oriented, maybe in a little line segment that's kind of surging, then I'm more concerned. But right now, because that line is oriented in a southwest to northeast fashion, I have less concern of severe weather in that area currently. And I think the focus really is going to be north of the state line based on what I'm seeing.
Just a update, we now have Lauren Barnes is on Walnut and Barnes in Springfield, where we had reports of a fire. She's there right now. She says there is no more fire, but there's lots of damage with multiple trees down, a street sign is down, there's a tree into a house, a tree into a car, all of this in Springfield right now. Lauren is at Walnut and Barnes. So there is there's some wind damage being reported in Springfield. She's there right now. Again, trees into houses, into cars, no more fire there, but there was a fire reported. So she's taking a look at the damage and getting some visuals of that. So we'll have that on Daybreak coming up at 5.
What was that cross street?
Walnut and Barnes.
Walnut and Barnes?
Does that
sound right?
That's downtown somewhere.
She's there now, and she's saying that she's seeing lots of wind damage with some trees just knocked around into houses and cars there. Yeah, that's where there was a fire reported, but it is not. There's no more fire anymore.
Okay.
Also, going through some power outage maps. City Utilities is reporting several hundred people in Springfield without power. Missouri Co-op is reporting over 3,000 without power in Greene County alone, and we're getting more reports of power outages. We've got 1,500 without power in Christian County. We're starting to see a couple hundred in Stone County, so As this line continues to progress east, just something to think about with power outages coming your way. We are on Facebook Live, so you can go ahead and take your phone with you to your safe place if you're in any of these tornado warnings.
And currently, the two most dangerous areas within the line right now are in eastern Douglas County and in eastern Ozark County. We've got a couple of circulations. One located to the west of Dora, not very far away from Dora, should be moving through Dora in the next few minutes. And we've got another circulation located just a little south of Van Zant. That one's going to be crossing over Highway 95 south of Van Zant here momentarily, and it should continue to track a little north of east, remaining, I think, southeast of Van Zant. So those are the two circulations. If you live in the vicinity of Dora, again, looking at a possible tornado in that area, also in the vicinity of Van Zant or a little south of Van Zant, possible tornado in that area too.
Yeah, so those are, guys, those are the arrows. That's what Jamie was just talking about, those two problem spots. They've cleaned up the way the tornado warnings look there. There's just the two polygons now, one for each circulation, so it looks a little bit clearer on radar with some of those polygons getting cleaned up, canceled in some spots and reissued in others. But those are the two problem spots. And you can see that we just got a new scan and they're moving really fast. I have to move my arrows already. But yeah, moving incredibly fast. I think this line is still moving east at 65 miles per hour. That is the forward speed. So again, that forward speed alone could cause an issue as far as wind damage is concerned, and that means that these are coming in quick. So if you're to the east of any of these circulations, act now. Even if it's not that close to you yet, it will be within 10-15 minutes. These things are moving real fast.
Yeah, right now the circulation near Van Zant looks like it's going to go just southeast of Van Zant. Looks like it's currently located pretty close to Highway W, running out of Van Zant to the southeast. That will continue to track, again, a little north of east. Looks like that's going to stay pretty close to Highway 76, maybe just south of Highway 76, at least over the next 5 to 10 minutes as it tracks east of Van Zant. The other circulation is here in northeastern Ozark County. This is to the west of Dora. This is actually the stronger circulation. This one looks more significant, and it is currently located to the west of Dora, very close to the county line, and it appears County Road 185 and looking at another cross, County Road 185 and County Road 180, in that area there west of Dora appears to be generally where that possible tornado is, and that's going to be moving dangerously close to Dora. I hope if you're indoor and you're watching from a safe area, because again, a possible tornado is going to be moving through your community. Looks like that circulation, based on what I'm seeing on radar, will probably pass to or just to the north of Dora. And then it should from there kind of hug the county line before trying to slip into southeastern sections of Douglas County near Siloam Springs. It looks like if it holds its course, it should get pretty close to Siloam Springs as it tracks towards west central Howell County.
Just looking at how long these warnings go for, let's see. We've got the one to the south for Douglas, Howell, and Ozark goes until 2:45, so that means another, 25-ish minutes. And then the one to the north goes until 2:30, so we still have a good 30 minutes at least on, combining both of these warnings. So there's still some time, but again, these are moving very quickly, still to the east at 60 miles per hour. We're getting, again, reports of tree damage. Whoa, there's a picture of a tree it's like coming down the ceiling,
in Rogers, Arkansas.
Yeah, it's just like a tree limb
just punctured into the roof.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go retweet that.
Yeah, so if you want to see that picture, Beth is, we're getting in some pictures. Lauren Barnes again reporting in downtown Springfield, trees on houses, trees on cars. We've got the newsroom coming in. We also, let's see, hold on. Sorry, I'm trying to read and process at the same time. I'll talk about
this Dora circulation. It appears that circulation is now located right on top of the county line, just north of the county line, just north of Dora. So it looks like that possible tornado has now slipped into southeastern Douglas County. Looks like it passed just north of Dora, and it is now located in southeastern Douglas County. It is approaching highway, it looks like that is highway 14. Looks like it is approaching State Highway 14 in that area.
Yep, National Weather Service said the same thing.
Okay, yep. So yeah, National Weather Service, they're looking at the same stuff that we look at here in the Weather Lab, and it's always great to we're all on the same page here watching these storms tonight. But again, right now it looks like that circulation is just to the south of Highway 14 in southeastern Douglas County, just north of Dora. So I think the tornado threat is looks like it's passing to the north of Dora. If you are watching from Dora, it looks like this tornado threat is going to probably slip by just to your north. Certainly good news.
An update on some damage. So our news director is driving around Highway 65 where we were looking at that debris field back there. She says she sees a lot of tree limbs down. The damage doesn't look terribly heavy to structures, but it's still dark, so she can't really tell, but she sees a lot of tree limbs down. She's headed to Galloway now to see if there's damage there. Lauren Barnes is telling us that, remember she was in downtown Springfield where there were multiple trees and homes and cars. She spoke to a couple of different neighbors and they said there's no injuries there. Law enforcement not on the scene right now, but she says that there are no injuries where she's at, but she did see some damage to homes and cars there as well. So the newsroom again working on getting some of these damage reports. Multiple, let's see, the West Plains has shelters open at West Plains Middle School, South Fork School, and Howell Valley School. So if you're in West Plains, you have nowhere to seek shelter. Those are open. West Plains Middle School, South Fork School, and Howell Valley School. Damage are also being reported close to Douglas and Ozark County. Many trees taking a hit there as they continue with some of those tornado warnings.
Yeah, it's still watching two circulations. These are the two areas that we're most concerned about along that squall line, and both of them are in eastern Douglas County. One is located here on Highway 76 to the east of Van Zandt. Another one is located here very close to Highway 14, maybe just north of Highway 14, now northeast of Dora. This circulation has been tracking in this fashion right along this general corridor, maybe a little bit more of a turn to the north, and then this one has been tracking in this fashion right here. And so on that course, it should continue to track across eastern areas of Douglas County and then could pose a threat to areas in Texas and Howell County. Both of these circulations could pose a downstream threat in Texas and Howell County. Again, we do have tornado warnings which do extend into Howell County and southern sections of Texas County. You can see for areas southeast of Kabul, down into Willow Springs and Pomona, even West Plains. Based on where we're looking at these circulations currently located right about here, this is going to continue to track in this fashion. So I would think the northern circulation is going to make its way into southern Texas County, and the southern circulation is going to head into northwestern Howell County and could potentially threaten areas like Pomona or between Willow Springs and Pomona. Elise is drawing out.
It's moving at 70 miles per hour, Jamie.
70 mile per hour movement, folks.
Jeez.
What that does, it tells you the amount of wind energy in the atmosphere right now. And of course the wind energy is what plays a role in the severe weather threat, but that wind energy, these storms, once they get going, they're kind of like leaves in a stream. And the wind energy in the atmosphere is pushing those leaves, those storms along. And because the wind energy is so strong, this line of severe storms is racing east now at 70 miles per hour. That means that we're going to find this squall line pushing east out of the area probably by about 4 to no later than 4:30 this morning. So the window of severe weather in our area is not going to last too much longer, but it does continue, and the threat for tornadoes also continues with this squall line until it moves through your community. So again, don't let your guard down. Even though it is late at night, we're approaching 2:30 in the morning, that doesn't mean that the severe weather threat is getting less and less. This is a scenario where the storm itself is actually helping to generate the instability and also generate the force to keep these storms going and keep them severe as they continue east at 70 miles per hour. And Elise is kind of drawing out right now where that squall line is, the ground that it's going to cover here. and that, I believe, is over the next 30 minutes. That is the amount of ground that that line is going to cover over the next 30 minutes. So if you live in areas like Summersville, Birch Tree, south down into areas like maybe even northwest of Thayer and northwest of Alton, say Brandsville, this line of severe storms, even though it seems like it's far away, it's going to be in your area in 30 minutes, a half an hour from now.
Couple of more reports, trees down in Sparta, where we had that very strong rotation roll through. Tree reports there too. Again, we'll get more of those once the sun comes up. But yeah, the line just moving very quick, and it's not just where the tornado warnings are at. This extends as far north as the interstate from just to the south of Waynesville down to the state line. That's where we still have that severe thunderstorm warning that includes parts of Douglas, Texas, and right until 2:45 for those 60-mile-per-hour winds. So cities like Houston and Mountain Grove included in there. So of course the bigger problem spots are in the two tornado warnings, but the line of damaging winds extends farther north up to about the I-44 corridor. New tornado warning before some rotation being spotted near Mountain View. So here we go.
So this is going to be, this is really kind of a continuation of that tornado threat along the squall line that is now making its way into Texas County and Howell County. So that's why we're looking at this new, it should be, yeah, there we go.
Until 3.
Okay, and that's till 3 o'clock this morning. That circulation is currently, it's centered to the southwest of Willow Springs. And this is where it gets kind of messy, folks. When we get this far away from the radar site here in Springfield, it gets harder and harder to see what's going on near the surface. So what we're doing is we're looking at radar, and then we're also kind of going off of persistence, where we have had a circulation and where we think that circulation is going to be going, to get an idea of where that tornado threat may continue. And it looks like that tornado threat currently is roughly in this area, and it will continue to track in this fashion toward or across southeastern Texas County and eventually into west central areas of Shannon County. So if you live from southeastern Texas County up toward the Summersville area, you're under a tornado warning. We do have a little bit of a signature here on radar. You can see that little nub right there. Circulation located, it looks like probably in this vicinity. That is an area that we're concerned that we could see maybe a tornado develop. Another area that we're concerned about is back in here to the southwest of Willow Springs. That is where we have been tracking a circulation, and again, still some hints that we may have a circulation right there. In fact, here in this scan, here's Willow Springs. And again, this is a long way away from the radar site. This isn't super impressive just looking at this, but it looks like we may have a circulation very close to Highway 76, tracking toward the east-northeast.
New tornado warning includes parts of Laclede, Pulaski, and Texas and Wright counties. This is radar indicated rotation. This warning goes until 3 a.m. So this is again a new tornado warning, goes until 3 a.m. Okay. There is that rotation. It's pretty much.
I can see. Okay.
Do you see it?
Yeah, that's near Plato.
Yes.
It looks like there may even be a debris signature with that circulation. So we may have a tornado on the ground right now, or at least it's been on the ground. This is located to the southwest of Plato. This circulation has developed pretty quickly here. But it looks like we're getting some hints of a debris circulation or debris signature. This is to the southwest of Plato or south of Lynchburg. And Elisa is highlighting that right now. You can see located roughly right in here is where that possible tornado is located. Again, I'm seeing some signs on other radar products that maybe we do indeed have a tornado debris signature, and that is tracking toward the northeast at
45 miles per hour.
45 miles per hour. Okay, we are getting confirmation. We are getting confirmation right now of a debris signature from the Weather Service office southeast of Lynchburg along the intersection of the Laclede, Wright, and Texas County line. So what we just got done talking about, again, the Weather Service is confirming that we do have a debris signature on radar, and that is an indicator of a tornado on the ground doing damage, and that is southeast of Lynchburg or south-southwest of Plato, where that tornado is currently located.
I want to come back to this for a second, Jamie, and just let people know that tornado warnings were extended down here as well. They were extended into Douglas, Howell, Oregon, and Shannon counties. These are radar indicated, but these are new. Here's that new one. This goes until 3, Douglas, Howell, Shannon, and Texas. So for this rotation that we were watching near Willow Springs, these have all been extended eastward. So that threat, again, now getting into the Mountain View area. So just keep that in mind as well. This cluster down here has been extended eastward for where we were watching that circulation earlier. But again, also we've got this one up to the north near Plato.
If we can, let's go back up to the one in Plato. It looks like that circulation, again, these things are very transient. They kind of come, they hit hard, and then they fade away. And I think that's what we're finding with this particular circulation. There was a debris signature. There's still hints of a debris signature on radar. That circulation is currently located south of Highway 32 here that runs west to east across Plato. South of there is where that tornado is located. And that tornado is moving northeast at 45 miles per hour. I'm gonna take over here on radar real quick. And we're going to kind of plot that along just so we can get a real good, solid idea how this thing is behaving. And I will clear this out. And, okay, 45 miles per hour.
Yes.
It's located right about in there. And that is roughly where it's going to be going. So it's passing south of Plato right now. And then it's going to be moving through Roby in roughly 7 or 8 minutes or so from now. And then from there, it will continue north across areas here. I'll go ahead and clear that out again just so folks can see what we're looking at here. It will continue to track north across northern sections of Texas County. Eventually, it could make its way into southeastern Pulaski County. But again, the circulation appears to be very, very transient. Like it came, looked like we probably had a tornado. There's still evidence of debris signature on radar right now. And then it looks like maybe it has weakened just a touch. But that circulation and where we're still getting a debris signature is located, roughly right about in there. This is what I'm seeing right now on radar. That is to the southwest of Roby, and that's going to be moving through Roby within the next 5 minutes. So if you live in Roby, please take shelter. Looks like we've at least had a tornado on the ground, and that circulation is moving through your area here within the next 5 minutes. So there's at least a decent likelihood that we could be looking at a tornado possibly moving through Roby within the next 5 minutes. Yeah,
because these are still moving pretty quick. Would you let's do a arrival time on that. This was moving a little bit slower at 45 miles per hour. That's still pretty quick though. Let's see, north and east, 45.
Yeah,
okay, just made it.
I'm going to go ahead and kind of list off. It looks like south out of Plato, County Road 5870. That is where that tornado is currently located. Again, that is running south out of Plato. On County Road 5870 is where that tornado is located, and that's moving northeast. That's moving in the direction of Roby and should be in Roby within the next 5 minutes.
Yeah, and to the south where we were watching near Willow Springs, there's also some power outages being reported from those straight line winds. Storm sirens are being activated, so you'll hear those storm sirens in Willow Springs right now. They've got some high damaging winds and power outages as well. So lots of people still in the dark. A reminder, we are on Facebook Live, seeing some. If you've got questions, we'll try to answer them. But yeah, we're on Facebook Live if you don't have power or if your storm shelter does not include a TV.
I'm going to go ahead, if I can, Elisa. We're going to stay with the Roby storm. I do want to show what we're seeing on radar. The reason why we think that there is indeed a tornado there. If we go to a product, it's called correlation coefficient. This allows us to see or sense debris being generated by a tornado. And folks, I'll go ahead and highlight this. You see that little ball right in there. This is to the southwest of Plato. This was, this was moments ago. Watch how that tracks to the northeast. That, folks, is right through there. That is the debris signature. This is debris that's being lofted up by a tornado that's on the ground or has been on the ground. And that debris is now in the atmosphere being sensed by the radar here in Springfield. That's currently located just south of Highway 32. It looks like that is moving in the direction of Roby. So again, that's why we're concerned that there is a tornado on the ground, and that tornado threat will be moving across the Roby area within 5 minutes.
This one is still moving, again, north and east at 45 miles per hour, incredibly fast at a quick clip. Let's try to get that on. No, don't have enough room. They're continuing the tornado warnings. Radar indicated still capable of producing a tornado just to the south of Fort Leonard Wood. Again, all these moving to the north and east at 45 miles per hour. So I want to get some of those times on here. It's just tough when we're zoomed in so close.
Yeah, so she's drawing that out for you. And again, that's going to be kind of a rough area that we're looking at. So Roby, it looks like that tornado is moving into Roby right now. And then from there, that tornado threat should pass across areas like Boone, probably about 2:45 this morning. And then from there, it looks like it'll be making its way northeast up toward areas there along Highway 63. So this is going to be the general corridor that tornado would be tracking. Now, right now, we're still looking at signs that there is a tornado on the ground. We're still sensing debris with that tornado. The circulation itself has weakened to some extent. Hopefully that is a sign that the tornado has lifted before it's gotten into Roby, but that danger is certainly still there. That will continue to track toward the northeast, and again, it looks like it'd be near Boone at around 2:45 this morning.
The Weather Service also noting that they're concerned about that area from Plato to Roby and then headed up towards Fort Leonard Wood still. That's an area that will continue some favorable tornado development, so that's one that they are concerned about. Where's that picture from? Rogersville.
Rogersville, still
South of
assessing
Rogersville.
damage. Looks like
A shed just totally toppled
garage.
down.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then we're looking at a picture from Rogersville where they're assessing damage of a shed that just totally looks toppled down on top of a car and just mangled there. So again, some reports of wind damage this morning. But there's that line segment of the 3 tornado warnings that we've got.
And I'm going to go ahead and, while this is kind of widened out, okay, severe weather threat, here's our squall line. The severe weather threat's over west of that squall line. So if you live west of where that line is located, severe weather threat is done. The rest of the night will be quiet. East of that line, the severe weather threat continues, particularly areas along and south of I-44 all the way down to about the state line here in Oregon County. So really, the area that I'm concerned about for additional tornadoes over the next 1 to 2 hours, because it's going to take another 1 to 2 hours to get this line through those areas, is going to be our eastern counties here, along and south of I-44, all the way down to about the state line. Where this line starts to hook off to the southwest, I think the severe weather threat is quite a bit lower. It's not completely zero, but it's quite a bit lower. Now, we do have to watch out for these more isolated storms out ahead of the line like that one in Sharp County, but I really think the game for the rest of this severe weather event is going to be this part of the line that's making its way through our eastern counties now along Highway 63, and we'll be pushing east of Highway 63 over the next 20 minutes to half an hour. Again, where you see these little surges, like especially like in this sort of situation where this line curves off to the northwest, where we've had a tornado, this is a favorable spot for additional tornado development, and that is going to be tracking northeast across southeastern Pulaski County into southern Phelps County and northwest Dent County. So if you live in this area, you're not under a tornado warning, but this portion of the line that I think poses a greater danger for additional tornado development will be moving through your area. Further south along the line, we've got these little surges where it kind of curves off to the south-southeast and then eventually off to the south-southwest. This portion of the line, likely looking at some damaging wind with this. Winds maybe upwards of 60 miles per hour. And then there are going to be these little surges where we could have little embedded circulations on that part of the line that could produce additional tornado damage. I think the tornadoes that we find are going to be very quick-hitting. They're going to be rather isolated in nature. And they kind of come and they go, and they come and they go, because they're almost like little eddies along the line of storms. You get an updraft over that eddy, kind of stretches that eddy out. It causes it to spin up and intensify real quickly, and then it kind of fades away really quickly. And that's what we're looking at, these very transient, shallow circulations. And because we're looking so far away from the radar site here in Springfield, it's very hard for us to see, for us to be able to show you where those circulations are on the line. But we can, based on the history of this line, based on what's going on in the atmosphere, say that there is still a decent chance that we will continue to find isolated, brief tornadoes with this part of the line as it continues to surge off toward the northeast. And again, this line is moving, what, 70 miles per hour?
Yeah, some of the latest ones are ranging from 45 to 60, depending on which piece you're looking at. And to add to what you were saying, this new severe thunderstorm warning to that top corner that you were mentioning still has that potential, has the tornado possible tag with it. So they're just putting a bigger blanket on that whole section where we've got the two little pieces where we can see the circulation, but they're noting that that whole thing is vulnerable to tornado development with that tornado possible tag on the severe thunderstorm warning.
This is the new severe thunderstorm warning that was just issued. And what the Weather Service does now, and it's been doing this for probably the last few years, is when you have conditions where you could have a tornado, but we're not quite sure, they'll put a tag on the warning that says tornado possible. And that just lets us know that while it is a severe thunderstorm warning, technically, there is concern that it may get quickly upgraded to a tornado warning. And given the environment, given that we've already had what was likely a tornado on the ground with this portion of the line here near Plato or southeast of Lynchburg, that we could see additional instances like that with this part of the line, and then maybe also with this part too, because these little surges that are oriented more northwest southeast, you can see them right there, those line segments. These are the parts of the line that are oriented more favorably to produce tornadoes and also to produce damaging winds, especially at the point of that bow. Like so right in here, this section right in here would be a favorable spot for damaging winds. Same down here near the Mountain View area, west of Mountain View. And then from that location and north, as it curves back to the northwest, that is a favored spot for these shallow, brief tornadoes to develop. And we've already seen that.
Jamie, you were mentioning, you know, now that this line is going to the east, it's kind of hard for us to see, but we know what we know based on what has happened. We were actually just looking at pictures on Facebook that came into our Color 10 Facebook page of some, Beth, if you want to show Jamie, it looks like some extensive damage near the Sparta area. Lots of just trees and sheds just in mangled pieces.
Not those.
These. So, yeah, pieces of sheds just taken apart, things tossed around into the street, trees down. So we are getting
fences blown over. Looks like they may have had a roof blown off of a house.
Something.
Right. This is near Missouri Highway 125, just to the north of Sparta. So we've been checking out
north
those
of Sparta.
pictures.
That was one of those spots where we had that debris signature. You know, with an earlier tornado that was associated with this line of severe storms as it moved through, and now we're getting that confirmation through photos being sent in from folks that have been impacted by that tornado.
And I know the newsroom is working on power outage update, because that has also been popping with thousands of people without power. So they're working on that. They're working on some pictures of damage.
That's a Mexican villa sign.
Totally uprooted. Is that in Springfield?
Yeah.
It's totally taken
Flintstone
out.
and elm.
It looks like when those trees are uprooted, this whole sign was uprooted. You can see the concrete still on the bottom of that.
I think that's near the water tower. Flintstone and elm.
Yes.
So that should be that Mexican villa is located pretty close to that water tower.
Near, right near Walnut Street.
Is that near Warren and the Barns?
A couple streets over.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because that's where Lauren had also found some extensive damage. So again, we're getting these reports in. The newsroom is getting in some video and pictures, and we're trying to collect them. What we don't get on the air overnight, of course, we'll have all in daybreak from starting at 5 a.m. So we'll have all those pictures and the updates on what we've found. But we do have some crews out there collecting some pictures and video of all of this damage. And I know Joe is working on some power outage maps and things like that to give us an update here shortly.
And just kind of an update on what we're looking at with the tornado warnings. We're still finding evidence of a circulation here in southeastern Pulaski County. This is south of Fort Leonard Wood. Over southeastern Pulaski County, this is just about to move out of the tornado warned area. Another circulation is evident on radar here to the west-southwest of Licking. This is not too far to the south of Highway 32, west of Highway 137 here. That runs north into Licking. We've got a circulation, looks like being picked up on radar. This again, southwest of Licking. So Licking residents, you're not technically under a tornado warning at this time, but you are under a severe thunderstorm warning that does have that tornado possible tag, meaning that we could find that warning get upgraded very quickly to a tornado warning. And we are finding evidence right now of a circulation southwest of Licking that will be moving toward the Licking area within the next few minutes. So please be extra vigilant if you live in and around Licking, as you're likely going to find some very strong winds moving through here momentarily. Also further south, kind of looking at radar right now, we've got a severe line of thunderstorms which extends south across Texas County and Howell County. It looks like that line of severe storms is now pushing east of looks like it's pushed east of Willow Springs, but pushing through West Plains at this time. If you live in West Plains, I'm sure you're getting some very heavy rainfall and intense lightning, and likely getting some pretty gusty winds as well.
They extended, there's a new severe thunderstorm warning, exactly what you were just talking. That's what I meant, I'm sorry. For that rotation you're looking that you were looking at.
Okay, so we've got a new tornado warning, folks. That circulation is strong enough now. It's located southwest of Licking. It's going to be moving through Licking. You can see it right there. And again, we're looking at radar in an environment where storms are moving very, very quickly. So we're kind of looking back in time on radar. This is where the circulation was. It's likely moving into Licking right now. This is where we have a possible tornado. New tornado warning has just been issued. Again, for that, particularly that circulation that's making its way toward Licking currently, that will be making its way, looks like northeast across Highway 32 and then Highway 63 in short order. And Elisa is kind of putting that into motion for us, so you can see how it's tracking in this direction like this. So it looks like it will probably move across the west side of Licking and north side of Licking. The west side of Licking here along Highway 32, and then the north side of Licking along Highway 63. That's where we have a possible tornado that'll be moving through over the next few minutes. So please take shelter if you live in and around Licking, particularly north and northwest of Licking, where it looks like we'll have a possible tornado moving through. Elisa's tracking that out. The forward movement 60 miles per hour toward the northeast. So again, in Licking, it'll be there within the next few minutes. It looks like it'll be making its way toward Maples within 10 minutes or so from now. Lenox, roughly 14 to 15 minutes or so from now. And then Lake Spring, if it does hold together, it may be in that area shortly after 3 o'clock this morning. But right now, in the short term, this is the area that we're most concerned about. In and around Licking, possible tornado moving through right now. And then that tornado threat would continue northeast across northeastern Texas County and should make its way into west central and northwest Dent County. Looks like that circulation will probably stay north of Salem and northwest of Salem. But if you live, say, in areas north of Highway 32 up to Lenox, this is going to be the general corridor that possible tornado is going to be tracking over the next 10 to 15 minutes. Again, right now in Licking, tornado possibly moving through your community, and then it should be moving northeast of Licking within 5 minutes and should be making its way into west central areas of Dent County, roughly 10 minutes or so from now. Again, that possible tornado moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. In addition to the tornado threat, we also are looking at the threat of damaging straight line winds of maybe 60 miles per hour. In addition to that, very heavy rainfall and lightning. So this is a scenario where you want to be indoors. You don't want to be outside watching for this line of storms to approach your area. because it's going to be there very, very quickly. And with that line of storms, not only the threat of damaging winds that are straight line, but possibly a tornado. That's what we're tracking right now in and around Licking, and that will be making its way northeast into Dent County.
Jamie, this is just from 245. Look at how quick that has moved in just 5 minutes. Just how it's really closed in on Licking, and just literally going back, this is 2:42 in the morning. It has come in real quick in just 10 minutes. So that's what we're seeing is these storms are moving fast. It literally only took 10 minutes for it to quickly spin up, because you see 10 minutes ago that circulation was there, but not great. It has really tightened up and gotten stronger and headed towards Licking all in just 10 minutes. And now it looks like it's right over Licking. So that's what we mean. These things are developing quickly. They are moving quickly. So that unfortunately doesn't give you a lot of what we call lead time. You don't have as much time to think, just get in the basement, even if you're still out a little bit farther east from this, because it's literally going to take just 10 minutes. These things are moving pretty fast.
And I'm just looking at a report down in Pomona in northern Howell County, northwest or north of West Plains. We just had a gust of 56 miles per hour, so just shy of what is severe criteria, 58 miles per hour. Got a gust of 56 miles per hour. So with that line of severe storms, we are finding not only the threat of isolated tornadoes, but certainly a widespread threat of damaging straight line winds as it continues to plow off to the east.
I was just looking at that. So right in here is where you were seeing that wind report, correct?
Yep. That just coming into the weather lab. That was at 2:37 this morning. So 15 minutes ago is when that report occurred at Pomona. So again, very strong winds, very heavy rainfall, but these are fast-hitting storms. I think we've got an update from...
In a couple of minutes, Joe is getting ready to give us an update on what they've got in the newsroom. He's putting on a mic on and getting on the desk.
So kind of getting an early start here on Daybreak. Here as we come in on 3 o'clock in the morning, we're going to be getting an update from Joe on what's going on across the area. Right now, the severe weather threat looks like it's now shifting east of Highway 63. So if you live west of Highway 63, the severe weather threat has ended. Yes, the rain may still be falling, maybe even still be hearing some rumbles of thunder, but the threat of damaging straight line winds and tornadoes has ended. East of Highway 63, we've got about another hour or so before the threat moves east out of our area. These are the areas that I'm most concerned about, and this is just looking at radar, not looking at what's going on in velocity, but just looking at radar. It's this part of the line right here, and then this part of the line right here. These little line segments, these are the areas where winds are most favorably oriented to not only generate wind damage, but to also generate these shallow, brief tornadoes within the line. And we've got one of them that's located right there, a little bit hard to see, but it looks like, again, located right about in there. That's going to be tracking into west central areas of Dent County as it moves northeast at 60 miles per hour. But I would also watch that area right there to the southwest of Acres. Just looking at it on radar, I think that may be a spot, too, that we need to be concerned about. So.
We're starting to get into this situation where it gets tough because it's hard to see on the scope. The circulations are weak and they're getting farther away from the radar, so it's really hard to tell when we're looking at it, just because we're getting a little bit farther away and these things are weak and spinning up quick and then coming down quick as well. But those are the two corners there that we've been watching.
If you live in Phelps County or Dent County, again, right now you guys are under the gun, not only for the threat of damaging straight line winds, but there will be that tornado threat. The tornado warning that we had back for areas south of Fort Leonard Wood down into northern Texas County, that tornado threat is over with. That line of severe storms has now moved out of the warned area, but the threat for severe weather, including isolated tornadoes, does remain for southern Phelps County into western areas, northwestern areas of Dent County. And then there's another little cluster of tornado warnings that we have, and that is for areas of Shannon County into northwestern Oregon County, for that part of the line as well. both of those two areas, we're looking at these surges in the line of severe storms that's indicative of the potential of damaging straight line winds and also isolated tornadoes.
We're getting more reports of damage. It looks like a house on Highway EE. It might have been the home of a deputy, but the barn is gone. Power lines are down. The barn roof, it looks like they took a direct hit. The fire department is trying to cut trees to get into several places to check damage there on Highway EE. So reports of trees down. The fire department also to try to cut through other trees to see what's there. But again, it's dark, so it's hard to see. But the fire department is on scene right now in parts of Douglas County. A barn, it looks like it took a direct hit from the straight line winds or possibly tornado. And we'll get more reports of that as we head through the morning.
Yeah, and looking at this line here, I'm going to go ahead, folks, and zoom in on the area that I am most concerned about, and that's area right there north of Licking. This is making its way toward the Lenox area. If you live in and around Lenox or south of Edgar Springs, north of Licking, looks like you've got a possible tornado in your area. It looks to be located very close to or just east of Highway 63. And that circulation is headed in the general direction of Lenox here in west central areas of Dent County, west of Salem. The circulation appears to be just west of the county line and should be crossing over. Looks like it's currently centered maybe right on the county line of Phelps County and Texas County, east of Highway 63. And then that will then quickly cross over the county line of Dent County into west central Dent County, south of Lenox. Looks like that's where that circulation is going to go. Still looks pretty good on radar, a fairly intense circulation. So again, that's where I think we have the greatest concern, at least at this moment, for a possible tornado just southwest of Lenox.
Hey, just a few reminders. We're getting some pictures in from some of our photographers. It looks like some of the power crews are out there now trying to restore power. Go ahead and stay home tonight. Don't go out and trying to take pictures. First off, it's dark. You're not going to be able to see anything. Second, let the power crews and the city crews clear the roads so that way tomorrow morning when you're, well, I guess this morning, when you're heading out for work, all of the streets will be clear. And it looks like we have a continuation of that warning.
They just like cut it up for areas that are out of the clear now. You know, in the clear now, they just cut it up. It goes until 3:15.
If we can, Elise, let's go ahead. Again, that possible tornado located right there southwest of Lenox. If we can track that, it's moving northeast at 60 miles per hour. Again, that would put it in Lenox within a few minutes. And then from there, it looks like it could make its way up toward areas along Highway 72, maybe near Lake Spring. So Elisa is going to go ahead and plot that out so that you can see some arrival times based on this movement of 60 miles per hour. Again, that tornado located, that possible tornado located right about in there, and it's tracking northeast. So it should be in Lenox within a few minutes, maybe 3 minutes or so. And then it should be in the Lake Spring area in roughly 15 minutes or so from now, or maybe a little south of Lake Spring here along Highway 72. From there, it should track up toward Winkler by about 3:19 this morning. So those are just a few locations along the path of where this possible tornado is going to be moving over the next half an hour. This track here is a half an hour time frame.
If you'd like, Joe has an update of some pictures and video. If you'd want to go to that right now, Jamie, unless you want to stay with us.
Let's go ahead and see what we've been gathering in terms of video and pictures.
Yeah, that's right, guys. We are still trying to work through a lot of this right now, but one of the big things that we've seen before we get to those pictures is the power outages that are happening. You've seen and heard the sirens going all over the place. City Utilities power outage map is lighting up right now. That blue-purple color that you see right there, that indicates 1 to 50 people, but there's such big clusters of this at a time. That's so much. You can see, if you zoom in a little bit, you see where I-44 goes, and then Nixa is just on the bottom of that yellow. There is a lot of power outages happening throughout Springfield right now as we take a look through right now. So if you have people that are in that area, you might want to check on them, make sure that they're doing okay. Also, one thing is, I was driving in here about 45 minutes ago. That whole north side of Springfield, once you hit Commercial, it is dark. It is pitch black. That whole area of town appears to be out of power. I noticed Evangel University, all those buildings are dark as well. That might be something you need to do. Check your social media, check checkup from them to see what's happening there. We also have some more power outages. You see Christian County down there in Taney, even they're experiencing some of this right now, some of these issues. As you see, some of those power outages that are listed there, several hundred without power there. That website is telling us 655 customers affected at the moment right now, and then there's even more happening elsewhere. So it's always something that you guys want to make sure that you're watching out for. Now in Springfield, you heard those tornado sirens go off about a couple hours ago or so, and there was a lot of damage from that. We have some video of that as well. Lauren Barnes got this for us on the way. So there was a tree down there that landed on 2 different houses there. Significant wind damage, and as we see people out there, we have a crew out there right now too, trying to gather some of this and try and collect what in the world is going on over here. Just always important, and a reminder as to why you guys need to take precaution, stay safe, and get in your safe space and your shelters, especially when Jamie and Beth and Elise are telling you to. That's the street sign right there, completely taken down from that wind damage right there. So still a lot to go through. And we also heard from somebody that was on scene right now. Lauren met up with them and told us what she experienced.
We had a pretty major tree fall on the roof. My phone's weather alert woke me up, and I looked out the bedroom window, and within 2 seconds the wind was just insane. A gust picked up, and we heard this huge crash, and big, I don't know how much of the tree, if it's half the tree or what, but fell on the house. I don't think we had any structural damage or anything, but definitely huge piece of the tree fell on the house, so it's going to be a lot of cleanup.
Scary moments right there, even as they're going through talking to them about the experiences. We're hearing plenty of other issues with reports. I'm not sure if we have our Facebook pictures up right now. Keep sending us those photos. We need to let people know what's been happening in those areas right now. But plenty of damage coming from throughout the Ozarks. Do we have any of these pictures right now that we're able to load up at the moment, Ben?
Maybe. Probably.
Joe, I was able to put a few on social if anyone wanted to go see those.
Yeah, well, I think we're going to try and keep punching those up. What are you guys looking at right now, Elisa and Jamie, at the moment?
Okay, yeah, while they're working on the photos, let's go ahead and talk about this line. Again, it's only about another hour or so, even less, I think, that we are really going to have to be concerned about severe weather. This line has moved through so fast. Right now, a new severe thunderstorm warning has just been issued. Still looking at severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Dent, Phelps, and Shannon. That's through 3:45 this morning. That possibility, even though it's a severe thunderstorm warning, that possibility for maybe some rapid tornado development is still there until that squall line can move out of the area.
Good news is only one tornado warning left on the map. This one goes until 3:15, so another about 12 minutes or so for parts of Dent and Phelps and Texas County. And it looks like the Weather Service is slowly starting to chop away at some of these severe thunderstorm warnings as this line continues to exit out of our area. Still getting some reports of trees down on power lines across Ozark County, down towards Douglas County. So as you're waking up with us, or as you wake up over the next couple of hours, just take caution as you're heading out to work. Let the power crews do what they have to do. Of course, never drive through or drive around or near any of those power lines because you don't know if they are live or not.
And just in terms of updating on that tornado warning that's still in effect, we are still looking at a tornado threat east of Highway 63. This appears to be very close to Lenox, where that circulation would be. Now, where this circulation is, it's in a spot that radar is having a tough time seeing what the winds are doing. But just looking at radar, it still appears that we have a circulation near Lenox, and then that will continue to track northeast up towards communities like Lake Spring over the next 10 minutes. So right now, the tornado threat over with in southeastern, or I should say southwestern Phelps County over toward Edgar Springs. It's over with down toward Licking in northeast Texas County, but it does remain for northwestern Dent County for at least the next 10 minutes or so.
And that box is flashing right now because the Weather Service just canceled it for Texas County to account for that, for the threat being eliminated to the south and west. So again, the warning still goes until 3:15 for Dent and Phelps County. They've chopped it away back to the south and west, but they're still noting that this is radar indicated rotation. That thunderstorm is capable of producing a tornado. It's just to the west of Salem and moving northeast at 60 miles per hour, so still pretty quick. So let me try to get those arrival times for you guys updated now that we've got a little bit of an updated warning here. So moving north and, what did I say, north and east?
At 60.
At 60 miles per hour. There it is. So here are some of those arrival times for that storm near Lenox. In Hobson, just within the next 5 to 10 minutes. We've got that storm near Winkler at 3:20, Steelville at 3:30. So again, these things moving very quickly at within 5 to 10 minutes, it'll be somewhere new.
Yeah, and just looking at radar, Lisa, I think we still have a tornado threat there. I mean, it's a little hard to see on velocity, but you can see the signs are there on what's called base reflectivity, which is what we're showing you right now. Where Elisa has our pointer, that appears to be where that possible tornado is located. That's very close to Lenox. So we may be in the morning, especially, we may be seeing a little bit of a damage path there from, say, Licking northeast across Lenox, at least in terms of straight line winds. Possibly a tornado. Again, that is tracking northeast. It should be in the next 5 minutes making its way through Hobson, and then from there it should be making its way into southeastern Phelps County across communities like Winkler at around 3:19 in the morning.
Jamie, if you'd like, Joe has access to those pictures now. We could take a look at that if you'd want to get a chance to look at this tornado.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take a look at those photos of damage from tonight.
Right, as you keep trying to track what's happening out there, Jamie, there's a lot of damage, and we're just now starting to get some of these right now as we see east of Emerald Park off Mumford and Highway 156. We've got a tree down on the house right there, and then as we continue to just scroll through Facebook, a lot is happening at the moment. Storm damage in Springfield. This is the Mexican Villa sign that you guys were talking about that you saw earlier.
Yeah, to me, it reminds me of like a tree getting uprooted. Did you see the cement still on the bottom of the sign? It totally took part of the street with it. So strong winds nonetheless, not just to get the sign down, but it took some of the street.
Yeah, how powerful does that wind have to be that came through right now?
It was. I mean, we probably had gusts of 60 miles per hour, but all the wind has to do is hit it right. You know,
Interesting.
If it's kind of a glancing shot at that sign, it's not going to have the same amount of force as if it hits it head on.
Really?
Which I believe is what we had happen with that sign, for it to get knocked over the way it's knocked over.
All right, so let's try and see if we can come back and check out on those power outages. If you know people in the area that have been impacted, you might want to try them on their cell phones, try and get in touch with them, make sure they're okay, because our power outage maps have been very full right now. They're likely going to be through daybreak. We still have a couple more hours until we even start daybreak, but as we take a look at just what's happening right here at the city utilities map, that is hundreds of outages that you see right here, and there's a lot, as we've been pointing out, in between where you see 44 going and Nixa. That's all in that cluster right there, so a lot is happening at the moment. And a lot to watch out there. That west central side of Springfield also impacted, just east of there as well. And so plenty happening with that. And then also, we've also got another Liberty Utilities outage map also, as we see several hundred customers without power in that Ozark-Sparta area. The Ozark-Nixa area also dealing with some of that. Again, you might notice this if you have to if you're traveling at all in these coming hours here. There's been a lot of street lights that are out. You need to make sure, come to a complete stop if your street lights are out, or if the stop lights are out, rather, I should say. So you want to make sure that you guys are safe while traveling out on those roads right now. And this radar is still active. You guys are really focusing in on Lenox, I see right here.
Yeah, so what that is, Joe, is a way for us to look at debris. What is the tornado or possible tornado picking up? And that what I circled is a signature. It's that's what leads us to believe that there could be a tornado on the ground, is we've got that blip, that organized blip where we could have either trees or dirt or something getting picked up by something on the ground. So we're seeing that they're pretty clearly just to the north and east of Lenox.
It looks like we're getting a report of the 911 center up in Pulaski County. They're on generator power, so...
Oh, no.
Yeah, to me that sounds like there's a lot of power outages up in Pulaski County as well. So again, as you're waking up and heading out the door this morning, just be very cautious. Do not drive over power lines. You do not know if they are live or not. Please let the city crews do what they have to do to restore power for you through the day today.
Yeah, and currently, folks, if you're joining us right now, We are just about done with the severe weather threat, but it does linger a little longer for areas east of Highway 63. We have a line of severe storms which continues to push across Phelps County, Dent County, south down through Shannon and Oregon County. Tornado warning remains in effect for northwestern Dent County. Still looking at an area, a suspect area northeast of Lenox. To the southwest of Lake Spring, where we may have a possible tornado. That circulation has been pushing northeast across Licking, then Lenox, and now looks to be headed in the direction of Lake Spring. So if you live in and around Lake Spring, continue to take this seriously with a possible tornado moving through your area within the next 5 minutes or so. As that possible tornado tracks northeast at, what was it, 60 miles per hour.
Yes.
Good news.
We're also seeing the tornado watch being chopped away, so you can see it looks like, except for that one corner up around Rolla, it is clear from Missouri counties except for that one corner around Rolla up here. Again, this is the tornado watch that goes until what, 5 a.m.?
Yeah, and that continues down towards Phelps and Shannon and Oregon County.
Oh, it does
as well.
on this.
Yeah,
this.
it's just got the warnings on it.
Gotcha. So here's where the tornado watch still goes until 5. Still goes in north central Arkansas, I think, until about 6. And there's that one tornado warning that we've been tracking.
And you'll notice what we're looking at here are watches and warnings. And while we do have a tornado watch in effect for north central and northeast Arkansas, we currently don't have any warnings for those areas. That's been a part of the line that's been oriented in a fashion that's not as favorable for tornado development. And we have not seen the amount of severe weather across northern Arkansas that we have seen for areas north of the state line, where that portion of the line was oriented in a fashion that was favorable for tornado development. We've already had, I think, several tornadoes that did occur based on what has happened over the last several hours, and we've still got a lingering tornado threat for areas east of Highway 63.
It looks like, though, that warning is about to be dropped, Jamie.
Okay.
That they have expired that warning for Dent and Phelps. So if that's going to be the case, that tornado warning is dropped, then for the first time in, what, 3 hours, we'll be clear of tornado warnings. Of course, that line still has the damaging winds, though. All of those severe thunderstorm warnings continue up from Rolla down to the state line as that line segment keeps, staying close together, bending a little bit. So the 60-mile-per-hour winds still a concern as far as damaging winds go, but that rotation weakening enough where it looks like we should start to see it drop out of the map, but they'll let it go probably, what was it, 3:15? They're going to let it fizzle out. Yes, they will let it expire. So if you'd like, I know Joe has some more pictures, and he wanted to recap some of that video that Lauren got.
That would be great if we can have Joe kind of go back over what's happened this evening in terms of pictures and damage and any video that's coming in. We can continue to monitor this line a little bit longer, hopefully until it clears most of the area, and then we can let folks go at that point.
Certainly, Jamie. And you heard Elisa say you guys have been working, excuse me, for the last better part of 3 hours with some form of warning in place right there. So we want to thank those guys for watching out and trying to keep you safe. But also, this is where the other part of this really picks up right now. It's our end. We got to look at the damage, and we got to make sure that everyone around is all right, because we have more pictures of damage as we see happening right now. People are going to get up, start their days in a few hours here, and so we really want to make sure that everything is okay as we see street signs are getting uprooted right now. This is all around the Springfield area, Glenstone, Elm, and Walnut, and so on. You see a lot of trees that are scattered across, trees blocking roadways. That's another thing that you want to watch out for right now. One thing that our news director pointed out to us is you need to watch out because leaves are covering those roads right now. Leaves and limbs, those things can kick up in your car and hit your tires and everything, and when there's traffic out there, you really want to watch out. You see damage right there from something that was totally torn off, and so it's something that we just really want you guys to watch out for as you get out on the roads right now, to watch out for those trees and limbs that are on the road. Drive with caution, and also if you come up with stoplights that are out, they turn into four-way stops. You need to make sure that you do that and stop, come to a complete stop before you move on. We also have some video of some damage that happened just a couple of hours ago as we take a look out here in Springfield. Lauren Barnes spotted this even on her way into work right now as a tree came down. This is on the Walnut and Barnes area. I believe a tree down impacting a couple of houses as we take a look in this street sign as we see uprooted as well. A crew is out there right now. We're going to stay out there and stay on scene, trying to really try and get the full scope of the damage that's been happening right now. Of course, Hannah Zettel will be out there for daybreak. We'll have a lot of other people out there trying to do that. We even heard from an eyewitness. We got his account about this. It's a scary interview. Take a listen.
We had a pretty major tree fall on the roof. My phone's weather alert woke me up, and I looked out the bedroom window, and within 2 seconds, the wind was just insane. A gust picked up, and we heard this huge crash, and big, I don't know how much of the tree, if it's half the tree or what, but fell on the house. I don't think we had any structural damage or anything, but definitely huge piece of the tree fell on the house. So it's going to be a lot of cleanup.
Scary moments right there, and just something that we all want everyone to make sure that you're just staying as safe as possible when it comes to this sort of thing. And so, especially now as we get out there, and as I mentioned before, on the ride in, the north side of Springfield, where our station is locating, a lot of it, very dark out there on the streets right now. So you want to watch out and check out, like we said, Evangel University was without power. Check their social media, make sure that they're still up and running as we start to get started on a Monday, on a new week right now. It is past 3:15. I want to know, how do the warnings and things turn up with you guys right now, Jamie and Elisa?
Thanks, Joe. Yeah, thanks for that update. Really great to see visuals of what we've been staring at on radar for a couple of hours. That tornado warning has been dropped. It's been allowed to expire. So that's some good news. No more tornado warnings, but we still have the severe thunderstorm warnings in place for those 60-mile-per-hour winds. Still moving pretty fast, right, Jamie?
Yeah, and I would say, Elisa, the only area that I think that I'm concerned about at this point, I mean, we still have a lingering circulation, I think, located right here near I-44 east of Rolla. That's about to move out of the area completely. There's one other area right in here that I would be concerned about, but it will only be in our area for maybe another 10 minutes, and then it too pushes out of southeast Dent County and northeastern Shannon County. The rest of the line, outside of some gusty winds and heavy rainfall and lightning, really, I'm not too concerned about. So we've got a very short-lived severe weather concern for maybe the next 15, 20 minutes tops, and we should be done with this severe weather event. At that stage, then it's about the cleanup and seeing what actually happened overnight tonight.
We've got reporters out. We're getting video and pictures in, so we'll have the latest on daybreak starting at 5. We'll, of course, cut in before that if we have to, if another tornado warning is issued. But the next big thing is going to be us just collecting the pictures and video, and we'll have all of that starting at 5 a.m. on daybreak from 5 to 7. So,
Elisa, what I've done is I've popped up this radar loop. This is a 4-hour radar loop. So it took 4 hours for these storms to get across our viewing area this evening. Yes, that was 4 hours. We have seen quite a bit of severe weather occur within that 4 hours, but this isn't like some severe weather events where it takes 8, 10, 12 hours to get these storms through. These have whipped across the area, and it looks like our severe weather threat is just about to come to an end in the eastern Ozarks.
yeah, look at that, how that line has fallen apart. It was so strong and beautiful from a meteorology perspective of just how organized it was coming through Springfield. It gets to the east of Springfield. Look at how it's just broken up, fizzled out, where we still have that threat, but it's much less than it was when it was back to the west.
And again, across northern Arkansas, you guys, except for northwest Arkansas, really sort of dodged a bullet with this one across north central Arkansas, just because of the orientation of that line of storms there. The storms north of the state line were the ones that really produced the bulk of the severe weather from really about I-49 and then east across the area, all the way north up to at least I-44. We've had wind damage here in the Springfield area, and just based on radar and even some visual reports, there have been at least a few tornadoes out of this event over southern Missouri.
Okay. Jamie,
Would you like to sign out, sir?
I think, all right. I think at this stage of the game, I think we, again, are seeing that severe weather threat now exit our eastern county. So on behalf of Beth and Elisa, we're going to wrap things up here in the Weather Lab, but we will be back on at 5 o'clock with the very latest on the damage that's occurred from the overnight storms that have moved across the Ozarks.